And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and happy almost Friday. How's everybody doing today? Come on in, guys. Let's get ready. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Also, my girl at True Crime Files, Kathy, I just call her Kathy. She has a true crime channel, and I'd love for you guys to go sub up to her. Yesterday, we hit Mr. Mabsters at his 2,000 subscribers. Let's get Kathy going, all right? Moz, if you can drop her chat periodically and her link in chat periodically, that would be great. I've got the link right there. It's easy, True Crime Files. And then Kathy Pentecost. Maybe we'll want to change that to be a little bit easier. I'll have to give you some tips and tricks, my friends, because I assure you, I sat here for many nights with nobody in chat or one or two people, Sadie's mama just watching me, the only person, one or two. So it happens. And especially when you're from the other side of the globe, Kathy, it's hard to get that time. But everybody, please go sub up to Kathy. She is my personal friend. I met her through YouTube, but I really just her and I are good. So go sign up, help her out, make her talk to somebody other than herself. She's doing an excellent job all the way around the world to get true crime out there. All right, guys. So listen, today's March 19th, 2026. And we've got a big case today. I know. There's a part of you that hasn't seen any of this case. There's some of you that probably watched this back in 2023 and it happened and said, I wonder what happened to it. And then there's others that are halfway in watching the trial and halfway like, what in the hell is going on here? Guys, this is a big deal and a trigger warning. Okay, so this trial began. They're on day 2 for a couple that was executed with an unborn child during a drug deal. So I'm going to tell you everything we know. This is going to be more of like this is going to be more like when you go sit down and watch Dateline NBC and you get the episode and the full deal. We're going to do that. I'm going to give you the story and then I'm going to land you on to what happened on day 1. What a mess it is. Very sad. But guys, these people are fighting with each other. 2 people just got kicked out. And I got to tell you, when this has to do with an execution of a drug dealer, you're going to have some not so nice family members that are going to go to the trial and want to hurt you real bad. So it's been very interesting following this case and looking at the trial and saying, damn, man, I was so into this case when it happened. I watched every second of who did it. Oh, the car. Who was in the car? Did she hand the rag out of the car? Wait, what? Who was it? Did you see that? I mean, I was consumed with this case, but I never covered it because I don't think I was even streaming yet. But the trial started yesterday with opening statements. Today's day 2. And I said, guys, we need justice for Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian Guerra. Now, I want you guys to also know that that is Fabian up on the screen. This is not how I do it. This is not I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I don't want open caskets or any of that. That baby was in an open casket with those kids that you see on the screen right there. That's actually the baby. She was due to go get induced. She was due like the next day. Dangerously, it was dangerous to not give birth to the baby, and she went missing. So when they found the bodies, they pulled the baby out and made him ready for a funeral. So you can see the pictures there. Those are all the victims. The baby would have been ready to go. Baby would have been born and all of that. Had these monsters not done this to this family. So get ready because I'm not sure if I'm going to cover the story and then start doing like, okay, here's the opening statements and day 2 and day 3. It just depends on what you guys want me to cover. Today, I'm going to tell you the entire story. And then we're going to get into, of course, the visuals, the evidence. My God. All right. So, Mama Sage, thank you so much for the $1.99. And I'll say, choo choo. Get those snacks ready, baby. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks to Jay and her moms for all they do. Thank you. And hello, my friends. Kathy, we need to hook up. We need to do a live stream so we can. Too bad you're in the future. Kathy is in the future, so it's hard for me to talk to her when she needs to talk. I'm sleeping when she's awake, and all right. But girl, we got you here. We'll go sub up to you. We got your back. All right. And thank you so much, Jamie. I'm doing well. How are you? How's everybody doing? Yeah, I was thinking about this case too, and I was wondering why I was thinking about it. That's because I kept seeing clips of the major monster, this piece of trash, this one. I kept seeing him go into court or clips. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember watching the perp walk. I was so anxious, and I was going to say excited, but it was more of an anxious feeling to see who committed these horrendous crimes. So if you guys remember this case at all, remember this is almost like a Nancy Guthrie case. They went missing. The victims went missing. There was no reason for it. We were looking for it. We found video. We couldn't figure out who it was. We thought that Christopher Preciado was a female because of the long hair. And then daddy, big fat daddy with the big fat belly, he actually helped him to clean up the crime scene and dump the bodies. All right. And then his stepmom goes in and she's in the back seat giving him a rag to wipe up the dead bodies. All right. So, I mean, again, we haven't even got into the story, but if you remember anything about that, that's like the 1,000-foot view. And I'm going to tell you dates, times, timeline, everything. But just think, a drug deal gone wrong. And guys, I believe he only had a few dollars on him. This monster did all of that, took 3 lives, and upset the world for a little bit of money. Execution style. Who does that? Who does that to anyone, first of all, but who does that? All right, so come on in, guys. Hit that like button. It is trigger warning, so if anybody, anybody's sensitive to anything about babies or whatever, this young lady, Savannah, was only 18 years old, and she was due, and the family is pissed. So watching the court is pretty explosive, watching trial and the way they move, because people are mad. All right, a precious baby boy, Fabian. All right, guys, everybody here, everybody buckled up, everybody ready to go, because I don't want to get started and then someone say, wait, Jay, because this one is a whopper. All right, it's a big one. And in order to get to trial day 2, if you want to catch up, you got to know the story. And it's not a story. I wish it were. I couldn't make this up. Synth is in the house. My girl Tip's in the house. Holly's in the house. I didn't even know who was going to be here today. Kel's in the house. Mama Pearl's in the house. Guys, say a prayer for Mama Pearl. I won't say anything personal. Just say a prayer. Mad prayer for Mama Pearl. Also say a prayer for justice for Savannah, Matthew, and Fabian. All right. Let me tell you, Jamie, it's happening right now. The trial's happening now, but let's get into it, since I know there's the people out there like, Jay, what happened? Where? When was this? I haven't started yet, but I'm getting there. All right, guys, those are our victims. And I'm going to tell you real quickly, and then I'll give you a visual. Christopher Preciado is currently on trial right now, day 2 in Bexar County, Texas. Now, he's accused of, let me put this up there. He is accused of 3 counts of capital murder for the December 23rd killings of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and Fabian, the unborn child that was ready to be born the next day. Now, prosecutors say that the couple were executed during a drug deal, and Preciado has pled not guilty, claiming self-defense. However, guys, you can't call it self-defense when you shoot someone in the back of the head and then you throw the car seat on top of their stomach of the baby that was just about to be born. You just can't do that. All right? Absolutely. This is one of the worst cases I've ever seen, and I'm glad to get it out to you so it can play out, because it's horrible. These people are monsters, okay? Now, listen, I'm just going to give you some key points. This is Christopher Preciado is the person on trial right now. Remember, there's him, his stepmother, and his dad. Now, they were going to go for the death penalty, but some reason they decided not to. So he's not going for the death penalty, but his dad is going to be on trial, and he's back supporting him. He's right when you watch the court, his dad and his stepmom, this fatty 2x4. And I only call him that because when we were trying to find who the perpetrator was, we saw this guy with this big fat ass belly coming out and helping cover up the murders of the 3 victims. And we didn't know. We thought it was a girl and a fat man. And then all of a sudden we watched it again and we saw somebody's arm hanging out of the back of the truck saying, "Don't forget to wipe it down." And that was this piece of garbage as well, which, by the way, all charges were dismissed on her, and she's sitting in court right now behind her stepson. Now they can recharge her at any time, but they did let her off. Charges were dismissed. She got tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and altering, destroying, or concealing human remains. All right. Yeah, she handed the freaking towel off. And we didn't see that at first. We just didn't. We didn't see it. We thought it was a female with long hair and a fat man, and we didn't see the arm, but that arm is what got her tripped up. And that video, you remember, Marlena. Oh, you bet your ass we're going to look at that video all different ways. All right, now listen, this guy is a piece of trash. 3 counts of capital murder, including the unborn child, tampering with evidence with intent to impair a human corpse, and abuse of a corpse without legal authority. Now, he didn't even get charged for robbery. That's how little of a robbery it was. I think he got a little bit of weed or $20, something like that. It was like nothing, all right? It was a little bit of nothing. It's unbelievable. Now, this is in Texas, Bexar County. This happened 4 days before Christmas and 1 day before her due date on December 21st. But guys, it was back in 2023. All right. Victims Savannah, Matthew, and Fabian. And the trial just began. Jury selection and opening statements took place this week, and we're on day 2. Now, let me tell you quickly, the state's theory is prosecutors are saying that the killings were planned and executed during a drug deal, and the deaths characterized as an execution, not a mutual or defensive shooting. They presented evidence and testimony with crime scene photos, ballistics, horrible photos from the investigators to show Preciado shot both victims deliberately in the back of the head, execution style. Now, of course, this piece of crap pled not guilty. Preciado, he asserted his defense in court and said, "No, I just went to go get my weed and they tried to attack me, and so I killed them." You know how when people try to attack you from behind, right? When they're looking the other way and you get them from behind. Well, listen, so they were missing. The aftermath was all over the internet. Court TV reports were saying Preciado called his father and stepmother after the shootings and asked them to help clean the bodies and wipe down the car. And when I say wipe down the car, I'm talking about the victim's car. He murdered the victims in their own car, execution style, and then he drove off with the bodies, and he went and he met his fat father, piece of crap, and he helped him clean up the mess. Did that happen right away? No, of course not. Of course it didn't happen right away. So let's start with this. We're gonna go back and forth a little, but I promise you it will be worth it. All right. Let's start off with what in the hell is going on right now.
Trial of Christopher Preciado is getting underway this week. Now, he is charged with the murders of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn child. So here's a look back at this case that all started back in 2023. December 2023, Savanah Soto was expected to give birth to her son, but she would never arrive to her appointment to be induced. December 21st would be the last time anybody heard from her or her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. After her family filed a missing persons report, it led police to issuing a statewide clear alert on Christmas Day. The case got national attention, but by December 26th, the family's worst nightmare became a reality. Soto and Guerra were found dead inside his vehicle at an apartment complex in Leon Valley. On December 28th, police released this video. A truck could be seen driving up.
All right, this is the video. But before I start, I'm asking people if they can hear me, because only one person is saying that I'm going in and out. But my 6 mods say I'm okay. I'm also in California. There's no more blackouts or no heat waves. I'm good on my end. I restarted, I downloaded, I did everything to present this giant case today. So, mods, if something happens to you guys here, please let me know, because I don't know how it's going in and out when I'm talking right to the microphone. So it might be you guys. It might be whoever can't hear it on your end. All right? Ha! Shoe booty. You sound sexy as hell. Heel. Well, I guess you can hear me then, huh? All right, Jamie, how you doing? You guys are fine. You guys just rolled in. Perfect timing. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get a membership if you can. I assure you. Right, Clementine? Right. As a matter of fact, Clementine just won one of my books, signed copy. So we give stuff away on this channel quite a bit, and I gave away my last 2 signed copies, and Clementine and another person is on the way to get it. All right. So you want to be in the green. Jen's a gypsy. I don't know what keeps happening to you, but we need to get you a membership. Cool. And Chris, my girl, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. All right. Now listen, I'm going to make this bigger just because this was the video that I obsessed over with the entire world. All right. I know you would. Oh, yeah. I know. All right. This is the evidence that they had. So imagine this. Go back to Christmas Eve 2023. Your children were supposed to come home. They're not children. They're 18 and 22. Savannah was 18. Matthew was 22 with their unborn son that was supposed to be delivered the next day. However, they never made it home. All right. So this was the evidence that everybody had that we were watching. Let's take a look. Now, this is the victim. This is Savannah and Matthew's car. And Preciado, what is this kid's name? Christopher Preciado is the one driving the car with 3 bodies inside. And you see the truck that's pulling up there? That's Big Fat Daddy. Watch, you'll see.
Up next to Guerra's car, 2 people appeared to be cleaning the door. On January 3rd, 2024, arrests were made.
Are you sorry for what happened?
19-year-old Christopher Preciado and his father Ramon Preciado arrested.
Hold on, they didn't show the whole video. I'll have to.
19-year-old Christopher.
Hold on. This was the
to
video.
Be cleaning the door.
It's so hard to. They didn't even play the whole video. Let's go back. Where's Big Fat Daddy? All right. If not, I'll just pull up another one. We need to examine that because that was driving us nuts, and you know what I mean. All right. Yeah, it did. Right, Marlena? All right. I'll find it and we'll play it. I thought they showed the whole thing, but either way, you guys are stuck with me for the next 2 hours. So let's go.
On December 28th, police released this video. A truck could be seen driving up next to Guerra's car. 2 people appeared to be cleaning the door. On January 3rd, 2024, arrests were made.
Are you sorry for what happened?
Okay, all you could see in that was his big fat belly coming out. And later on, you see a hand giving them a towel. So don't worry, we'll get into all of that. Right now, remember, it's like a Dateline episode. That way we can get through what happened.
19-year-old Christopher Preciado and his father Ramon Preciado arrested. The younger Preciado charged with capital murder, while Ramon was charged with tampering with evidence and abuse of a human corpse. Soto and Guerra's families didn't know the 2 men, but police said the exchange all started with a drug deal. Later, Mirta Romano's Christopher's mother was also arrested for allegedly trying to help cover up the crime.
Who's in chat that remembers the perp walk? I waited for an hour for those people to walk out of the door. I shit you not. The whole world was waiting. In Texas, they do a perp walk, or maybe they do it other places, but in Texas, they did a perp walk, and we wanted to see who these people were. Because, right, this is like the Nancy Guthrie case where the whole world is up in arms about this triple homicide. And there you go. It's the perp people coming out. Don't worry, you'll see plenty more of them today.
That was definitely relief of mind
Thank
that,
you, Foxy.
I can hold someone accountable. I've been talking about justice for the three of them since it started.
According to the arrest affidavit, Christopher told police that Guerra had pulled a gun at him and he was able to, quote, manipulate it, but in the process, Soto got shot. And again, that happened, and that's how Guerra got shot. But according to police, that statement didn't match crime scene evidence. In November 20.
Now remember, this is Savannah and Matthew Guerra's car. He called his dad to help wipe down the car and dump the bodies. Now, they dumped the bodies, but they left a bunch of junk on top. You'll see what I mean afterwards. All right, come on in, guys. Let's go. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Foxy, for the gifted membership. If you receive a gifted membership, please thank Foxy. Luna says, I'm from SA if you want me to go look around the area for visuals or go to court. That's awesome. Shoot me an email if you would. I mean, I'm totally open for any of that stuff. All right. My email's below. So let's get to it. All right. This case it's big. It's big and it's been years. So a lot of things have transpired.
2025, Romanos was expected to go to trial, but when a reset for the case by the state was denied, all her charges were dismissed. A shock to the families who found out after KSAT posted about it on social media.
I don't know what's wrong with the district attorney's office or what are they doing? Why do they keep dragging everything?
Now, just imagine this family waiting, number one, waiting to find out where the 3 victims were. Then imagine 2 families coming together, 2 big Hispanic families coming together. One of them was a drug dealer, which was Matthew, even though he wasn't like a real drug dealer. They call it a drug deal. He was giving him weed and it was illegal. It's weed, but that's what they call it, right? Weed heads don't kill people. All right. But these people have been angry for years and some of them are in court. You're going to see both sides of 2 Hispanic families pissed. All right. They want justice. They wanted the death penalty, as a matter of fact, but it didn't happen.
Are you happy with how the case has been handled so far?
No, I'm not. I am not happy at all. None of us are happy at all.
You see that tattoo? That's the baby. He tattooed the baby's portrait on his neck. Look at that. I wish I can get more into details of the family, but I don't have time today. Look at that. There's a picture of the baby. And that baby picture was the one image that they had from him in the casket. All right. Yeah, this is a very sad case. And the trial's happening right now. So I got to get you guys up to speed.
Not happy at all. None of us are happy at all. The whole world's not happy at all.
The case against Christopher Preciado would now move forward. Now we got to get a look at the witness list, and there are numerous officers from multiple agencies on it, as well as expert witnesses from the Bexar County Crime Lab and the Medical Examiner's Office. Also on the list, family members of the Guerra and Soto family, as well as Ramon Preciado and Mirta Romano. So it'll be interesting to see who they will actually call up. Now, opening statements are expected to begin tomorrow morning.
All right, so that's where we are right now, up to today. The murders from 2023 of the couple and their unborn child is where we're going to start. I'm going to show you that footage, and then we're going to get into the whole entire case, the timeline, what happened, who's who, what's what. All right, this is the video. I'm going to play this and make it bigger.
Woman and her boyfriend in the San Antonio area. Just about an hour ago, San Antonio police released surveillance video of 2 people they call persons of interest. Take a look. The video shows a dark Chevy Silverado and the Kia Optima in which Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra were found. You can see 2 people.
Yeah, you can see Fatty getting out, and then we watch this. I watch it 100 times. You'll see a hand pop out of the back. Now, I wish I could have zoomed in on this, and I certainly can when we spend more time on one portion, but this is what happened. This is the 3 of them.
People in the video, although it's not clear enough to make out who they are.
You see?
This video was taken.
You see? So we were looking for a giant fat ass, I'm just going to call him a fat evil devil. We saw long hair and a hand. We were like, who are we looking for? Who are the perps?
Not far from the apartment complex where the Kia was found. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said they cannot rule out a murder-suicide, but for now, they're calling this a capital murder case. Soto and Guerra were found Tuesday night. Police said they had both been shot in the head. Soto was scheduled to go to the hospital Saturday to be induced. When she didn't show up, her family started searching on Christmas Day. And we do begin tonight with new information.
All right, so that's taking it back. There we go. That's happening now. This is a Soto. Soto really did a number on that last name, right? I know. I was working on the case today, and I was like, wait, what? I gotta do Soto again? All right, let's get into what the prosecutors and everything that went down in this case. Good to see you guys. I hope you guys are here the whole time. All right, we got a big one, and I'm like, I'm ready. So listen. Today's March 19th. This came out from Court TV on March 17th, 2 days ago. San Antonio in court more than 2 years ago after a pregnant teenager, she was 18, and her boyfriend were found shot to death in a car. A suspect in their alleged murders is now standing trial. That's him. He looks much different. Christopher Preciado has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of capital M in the deaths of Matthew Guerra, Savanah Soto, and Fabian, their unborn child. Now, that child was going to be named, they say David, but the Fabian name came up. I don't know why they changed it. They say the child was going to be named David. Prosecutors revealed during opening statements in the Preciado murder trial. That's interesting because I didn't know that. They called him Fabian forever. When did that change? Anyway, I'm still going to call him David or Fabian, the baby. Now, December 21st, 2023, Soto was overdue to deliver her baby, and she was scheduled to be induced at the hospital. No big deal. Family and friends were ready to do it. The couple was nesting at their home. They just wanted to run out real quick, but they never came back, and the victims' bodies were found 5 days later in Guerra's vehicle parked at an apartment complex. Now, imagine whatever the decomp situation is and the fact that they were left with covered in junk. Okay. 5 days later, covered in junk, at least in Texas. In December, Texas may not be so hot. Now, the woman who found the victims looked inside the car and she saw Savannah in the passenger seat dead. She was covered in junk. The baby carrier was on her belly, which means the car seat. And she was so distraught by the discovery, she didn't even notice Matthew lying down in the back seat dead. All right. Prosecutor Melissa Albin told the jury that Guerra and Soto had made poor choices and were selling drugs at the time they were killed. She said evidence led investigators to determine that Preciado had arranged to meet with Guerra to buy marijuana on December 21st. Now, where did it go? Albin said that Preciado shot both victims in the head before driving Guerra's car to where it was later found, less than 1 mile from the Preciado's home. Now, the defendant allegedly called his parents to come pick him up, and then they hid at their house for 13 days. All right. Preciado allegedly admitted to killing the couple, but then he told officers that he acted in self-defense. He says he did not do this because he was in fear for his life. He did it. The defense says he did not do it for fear. He did it for money. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to hear that there was nothing that happened in the car on that night justified Christopher Preciado of taking out a gun and taking out an entire family in less than 30 seconds. Now, the Preciado's attorney, Joseph, urged the jury not to rush to judgment in the case, as usual, right? They're playing video and footage from the crime scenes. There's no DNA, blood spatter evidence, or fingerprints or gunshot residue would have been introduced in the case, is what his defense is saying. And he's also saying he never confessed. Now, he described a chaotic situation, a drug transaction gone wrong, where a gun's pulled out on him by the dealer, a struggle ensues, shots were fired, and there you go. That's not capital murder. In fact, Esperanza also suggested to the jury that evidence would lead them not to Preciado, but to his parents. They're blaming his parents. Ramon Preciado is charged with abuse of a corpse for his alleged role in the crime. And Esperanza noted that in the opening statement to the jury that the gun suspected of being used in the crime was found in the defendant's parents' closet. And I believe it was his stepmother's gun. Now, when you separate the science from the inference, you'll see that the state's theory is not firmly established. That's what we're facing in court right now. Now, Myrta, his stepmom, identified as Christopher Preciado's stepmother, was also originally charged with evidence tampering and abuse of a corpse. Charges were later dismissed. All right, so this is where we start off now. All right, how's everybody doing? You guys here with me? Who hasn't heard of this case? Is this your first time hearing about this case? What's going on, people? What is going on? Let me put this back up. We need justice for Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian, but we'll call him David. I never heard that. Tiff, did you hear that? That's crazy. I followed this case, but I didn't follow the ins and outs as the years passed. And so therefore it was like, oh, okay, I might have missed something. All right. So we are going to, well, we know about the murders. Where we go. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a timeline so you guys are not lost. Do a timeline with all the characters, and then we're going to get into the whole thing so I can lead you up to court, to the trial right now. Okay, I am disappointed that he didn't get the death penalty, but you know what? Either way, you rarely get executed, so let him suffer. All right. Now, this is the timeline. This is going to give you the timeline, everything we know, and then the full story. Yeah, not janky at all. I love my children, but I'd have to turn them in. That's what this is what the father of Savannah and Matthew said on the news. I don't know if I have the clip, but he literally said, if my child called me to dispose of bodies and clean up evidence, I would tell him call law enforcement and let's get ahead of it. I wouldn't tell him where to park the car and how to wipe it down. All right. I can't believe people that haven't heard of this, but hopefully prison's not fun. And hopefully this guy keeps his hair long. Hopefully he grows out his hair, because then he could be somebody's bitch even more so. So there he was with the long hair when he got arrested. Now he's trying to make himself look clean in court. But I assure you, he'll be somebody's bitch in there. All right, let's continue. This guy is the biggest monster ever. Unbelievable that he did this. And I mean, they should charge the parents for the weapon and helping to clean up the case. All right, so here we go. Where capital murder trial begins. And here's the timeline and then the full story. So if everybody, whoever's here, you'll have to go back if you miss something, if someone pops in later, because I won't be able to go back. This is a different than normal.
Accused of killing soon-to-be mother Savanah Soto and her boyfriend Matthew Guerra back in 2023. Soto and Guerra were reported missing in December of 23 after they missed a date when Savannah was supposed to be induced.
Come on, guys.
After days of searching, their bodies were discovered in a parked car at an apartment complex. Today, their alleged killer was in court for trial. News for San Antonio's Ethan Trejo joins us live with the latest. Ethan.
What?
Well, Jonathan, good evening. It's been an emotional day one of trial for both the families of Savanah Soto.
So we're just kind of bringing you, I don't even know what y'all are laughing about. The mods are teasing me about saying there's 40 mods. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I appreciate every single one of my mods. Carly is my channel manager, and she never really expected to be in chat. It's nice when she pops up, but hey. But a lot of people have been you guys have been needing time off. So I'm like, yay, you're here. All right. Anyway, back to it, ladies. All right, let's continue.
And Matthew Guerra, the two shot and killed in 2023, along with Savannah's unborn son, Fabian. The courtroom was definitely packed with their family members as they anxiously await the outcome of this trial as attorneys attempt to decide the fate of their potential killer, Preciado. Christopher Preciado is charged with 3 counts.
You see, this guy
of intentionally killing 2.
He walks right in front of the camera when I'm like, that's the perp. That's him. And his mom and dad are sitting right behind him. Is this case going to be online? It is online. I'm doing it right now. It's already going. That's why I'm trying to get you guys up to speed so that you can either watch the coverage yourself or I can cover what's happening. All right. Today I'm stumbling in. Well, God, you're here. Cool and Chris, thank you for being here. Wesley, big prayers to you. Mama Sage, thank you for being here early. Jen's a Gypsy, thank you for being here. All right, let's go. This trial's happening right now. So if you guys, after I tell this story today, want me to continue covering it, I certainly can.
Individuals, as well as Savanah Soto's unborn baby and robbery. He pled not guilty to all 3 counts. Today, we heard from witnesses who saw the car where the bodies were found and a friend of Savannah who found her body.
The more they looked, the more the trail led directly to the front door of Christopher Preciado.
Preciado's defense argues there isn't enough evidence to prove that he pulled the trigger with the intention of robbery. Instead, they say he only fired after being threatened by.
And there's the scene where the car was dumped after they found the bodies. Now, this kid is not going to get off. I'm going to tell you right now. He all but confessed. And I don't think one juror in their right mind would ever not convict somebody of a case where someone was shot from behind. They're just not that dumb. Well, yeah, Jen Johnson, this took years to get to this. Otherwise, I wouldn't cover a case like this for no reason. The reason I'm covering it is because the trial's happening. A lot of people don't even know what happened. All right. I'm local and I can tell you for a fact they are not live streaming this trial, but there's a lot of clips and stuff, and I can certainly give you all of that. I'll show you a preview after that.
Guerra while in the car for a drug deal.
When you examine the evidence closely and you separate the science from the inference,
none.
You'll see that a lot of the state's theory is not as firmly established as they claim it to be.
Body and dash cam footage was also shown on the day the welfare check was performed while Savannah and Michael were missing, and the day their body was found in the car by family members. The family.
Again, guys, the courthouse is packed with family members, okay? And again, this is triggering.
Reliving one of their worst memories. Well, the jury will still have a lot more information to take in. Like we said, Christopher Preciado is just accused as of now before that jury makes that final verdict. The trial is expected to last into next week. We'll be sure to bring you all the latest updates right here. Reporting live from downtown, Ethan Trejo, News 4, San Antonio.
All right, guys, so it's happening right now. It's in Bexar County. I'm going to show you. That way you guys can, if you want to go off and watch the trial by yourself tomorrow and catch up, you can certainly do so. Here's the article so you know exactly where it is. Ken's 5. All right, Christopher Preciado trial, jurors shown grisly images from the scene where the young couple was found. Firearms expert discuss evidence that was left behind as Christopher Preciado stands for trial of capital murder. Now, San Antonio is absorbed in the tragic case of the couple and their unborn child killed in a drug deal. So this is in Texas, guys, and there's a lot of footage, so I'm not sure. I don't think they're live streaming, but they're certainly streaming where we can see it, okay? All right, they are streaming it. I don't think it's live, but I mean, maybe it is. I wasn't watching it live. But I have so many clips from the court, I can't imagine it not being. Now, this is in San Antonio, okay? So, look, a pregnant woman days away from giving birth. You guys know all this, and we just went over it. That's all they're telling us. The families of 18-year-old Savanah Soto, which has zero relationship to Jen Soto, was 18. Matthew Guerra was 22, and their child, a baby boy they named, this one says Fabian, are hoping for justice in the trial against Christopher Preciado. Now, Soto was in her final days of pregnancy, and a clear alert was issued on Christmas Day after she did not show up for her scheduled induction. Their bodies were found with bullet wounds on the day after Christmas 2023 in a northwest side apartment complex. Preciado's trial began this Tuesday. Today is Thursday, this day 2, and jurors were shown graphic evidence and listened to emotional testimony from several witnesses. The testimony is expected to continue Wednesday, which was yesterday, and today and tomorrow. Live streaming is not allowed by court in this trial, but Ken's 5 will be providing daily live updates each day. See updates today to trial below. All right, so I want you guys to understand that they are showing it, and I could even show you real quick before we get into the entirety of day 1, so you feel like you're all caught up. All right, here you go. Day 1. This happened on Tuesday after the jurors were picked. Day 1 in court.
A body camera video, autopsy photos, and listen to emotional testimony in the trial of Christopher Preciado. He's accused of killing Savanah Soto, her unborn son, and boyfriend Matthew Guerra in December 2023. Police say it was all over a drug deal.
Tonight, KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs breaks down what happened on day 1 of the trial, and a warning tonight: what you're about to see is disturbing.
Loved ones of Savanah Soto, her boyfriend Matthew Guerra, and their unborn baby Fabian are demanding justice. Accused.
I want you to pay attention to this because it's really important that they have the support for Fabian and the family. And remember, this is already getting out of control. Today, 2 people got kicked out of court. These guys are ready to strap up and just take people out. You really should not mess with a drug dealer, and especially not 2 Hispanic families where one's about to give birth. They're pissed. All right, guys, hit that like button. Come on in. We're partially to the goal. If you guys can, if anyone wants to match me, I'll throw down 5 guilty of crime memberships because I noticed there's not a lot of green in here today. All right, I will get 5 memberships when we get to the next clip.
Killer Christopher Preciado appeared calm during opening statements.
You're going to hear that they made choices that many of us would not make.
Now, I want you guys to realize, too, that they are not considered drug dealers in my eyes. I don't want to label Matthew and Savannah as drug dealers. They were literally just running out of the house to meet that piece of shit, Chris. They left a candle on and their things all there. They were going and coming right back, but they never made it home. All right. And weed, I don't think weed was legal in Texas back then, but still, these are our victims. And the baby that was in here, Fabian.
But the penalty for those poor choices should not be execution. And the evidence is going to prove to you that on December 21st of 2023, that is exactly what Christopher Preciado did to them and their unborn baby. He executed them. And for no other reason that he needed money and Matthew had a lot of it.
Preciado's defense team stressed the jury's job is not to measure grief or assign moral blame.
What she did not say, and what we believe the evidence will show.
And see, this is what they're going to be doing each day, is like giving you clips and highlights. So if y'all are into it, I mean, we have 135 people in here. If y'all are invested in this and you want me to bring this all the way through, just let me know and I'll certainly do so. It's very important that people know about this case in the entirety and that they get justice.
Is that there are no eyewitnesses to this offense. Nobody's going to testify to say they saw Christopher Preciado pull a trigger with any sort of intent or deliberation. There's no video evidence of this crime that took place.
Police body-worn camera revealed the frantic moments when relatives of the missing couple
You see that? Those screams you'll never get out of your head. So again, if you're just rolling in, trigger warning. Clementine says it's not legal in Texas, and if it had bet, they'll never legalize it. Well, then stuff like this happens over a little bit of weed. That lost, those lives lost, all of these lives lost over a little bit of freaking weed. I can't comprehend it, guys. All right, we got a long way to go. So buckle up, buckle in. When we get to the next clip, I'm going to give 5 memberships. If you want a membership, you got to make sure to hit the like button and drop a comment.
Discovered their bodies inside Guerra's car on December 26, 2023. The day before, authorities issued a clear alert that stated Soto could be in a gray Kia Optima. Detective Andy Griego with Leon Valley Police recalls responding to the welfare check turned crime scene.
Now, I also want you to know there's going to be a lot of bad things that are said about Matthew Guerra. He had a record of domestic violence with with his girlfriend, Savannah. All right. That he has domestic violence and he sold drugs, so to speak. So I want you to know that this was over some weed jinx. Yes. They're going to paint him as a bad guy. I'm only going to paint him and her and baby Fabian as the victims. All right.
Trying to protect the crime scene by pushing the family that had arrived away from the vehicle, because I had found 2 individuals that appeared to be deceased inside the vehicle.
And San Antonio firefighter EMT Jeremiah Lotta explained what he saw inside the car.
I saw a female on the front passenger side and then the male on the back side, laying down with his lower half exposed. And I saw that there was plenty of blood in the back.
Now, listen, guys, here's a big part of it. They thought that he got somebody raped him or there was some sexual offense because he humiliated him by killing him and then pulling his pants down and leaving him all exposed. All right. Hi, I'm Two Bear. What's up? There are no doubt they were drug dealers, 5 lowlives off the streets. The only innocence was the baby. Well, you know, I will agree to disagree with you on that, but hey, rightfully so. You have the opinion. These 3 people are victims to the crime of the baby never got to be born, and Savannah never got to make it to her 19th birthday. And Matthew, well, yeah, he could have done much better, but he is a victim in this case. All right. A lot of things going to come out about him, but he did not deserve this. All right.
And enough blood in the front, and that there was a car seat on top of the female.
And Preciado's defense team says he acted in self-defense, but the prosecution says the evidence does not support that argument. The trial resumes tomorrow morning. In the newsroom, Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
All right, and that's where we are. Now we're going to find out about the victims and the families and the outcome this is just crazy. This is happening right now. Christopher Preciado's on trial, 3 counts of capital M for taking the life of the unborn baby, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. It took this long to get to trial, and they didn't give him the death penalty. They were going to, and then they didn't. I don't know what the deciding factor was or the contributing factor. And these 2 monsters are also right behind him in court. They were also charged. And Ramon Preciado, his dad, helped him wipe down the car and dump it. He's definitely going on trial as well. Hello to anybody I didn't see. If Rebecca's in here, you said Rebecca, Clar, are you in here? You're not feeling good today? Well, hello to everybody. I hope you're all doing okay. All right, let's put the victims back up and we will get to it. There's a lot going on in this case. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're already kicking out family members. I mean, they can't control themselves, I guess. I don't know. All right, so family watches video of evidence, capital trial begins. What happens on day 1? We'll get to that later. Because if I do that now, y'all will dip. All right, here it is. Everything we know about them and what the heck happened to pregnant 18-year-old Savanah Soto. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Where did this happen? Who is all involved? Listen, your family members have a lot to say. All right, this is pretty big. I'm surprised Texas did not give him the death penalty. I really am shocked. All right, here we go.
18-year-old named Savanah Soto was reported missing on December 22nd, 2023, and was last seen in a gray Kia Optima just days before Christmas.
Yep.
Reports later stated that her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, had also been missing. The families of the 2 were shocked.
Now, listen, I was reading a comment, Mo, and that comment was not what I said. I wasn't talking about anything, so you have to talk to whoever said that in chat. Okay, I don't think anybody or anything or none of that. I was just reading a comment. Those 3 are victims right there in this picture, and the little baby Fabian was buried and put in the casket for viewing along with them. Now, the parents didn't even think that they were going to be able to have an open casket because it was 5 days their body was decomposing, etc. All right, so let's continue.
To find out what had happened to the young parents-to-be.
There isn't a dry eye at this Northwest Side apartment complex.
It's a Merry Christmas, but it's not too merry for us right now.
Emotions are raw as several look in the direction of Savanah Soto's apartment. Everyone here, including her grandmother Rachel, hoping for any clue on her location.
We're entitled to know something about her. We love her, we miss her, whatever's going on. Let her come home so we can have a Merry Christmas with her.
Family says the 18-year-old mother-to-be hasn't been heard from since Friday, the day before she was set to be induced.
Now, just if you know this case, go ahead and go back and, go ahead and just take your minds back to there because we're going to lay it all out for everything that you missed. All right, let's continue.
I just need to know that she's okay.
Savannah's mother, Gloria Cordova, put out a desperate plea for information about her daughter and filed a police report.
Oh, I'm going to give 5 memberships, guys. So make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, all that stuff. All right. I know Gen X, but they need the justice. And I feel like the only way is to have eyes on it and support. I think many people followed this case back in 2023 and they forgot about what happened because it took so long. All right. That happens.
With Leon Valley over the weekend. Cordova says since last speaking to her daughter, there's been no contact with Savannah.
I just want her home. I'm worried about the baby. If she's even had a baby.
Gloria says she believes Savannah is in trouble.
There's no reason why she would just get up and go off and do that.
Especially in light of her 15-year-old brother Ethan being killed last year.
She knows what I went through with Ethan.
She
lost. And I know she doesn't want me to go through this again.
I hope everyone here to look for Savannah has.
To God hear my prayers and bring my granddaughter and my great-grandson back home.
Now, just imagine this. Put yourself back into 2023 as we were in the Nancy Guthrie case yesterday. Everybody in this case was invested to find those people, right? To find Savannah and Matt and get the baby to be born. All right. And this is the outcome. Holly said, I had no clue the trial was going on and I live here. Exactly. And that's why I want people to know about it.
That's what we want.
We're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene.
We start tonight with team coverage after the search ends for missing mom-to-be Savanah Soto. This afternoon, her body was found along with her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. Thanks for joining us tonight for News 4 at 10. I'm Jonathan Martinez. Tonight, that investigation is believed to be a potential murder, as San Antonio Police Chief William McManus reveals they believe 2 bodies found inside of a vehicle may have been there for 3 to 4 days. Soto was last seen on Friday, December.
Remember, this is all rolling out. So this episode is, I gave you where we are today, day 1 of trial in the background. And then this is as it was moving. The world that was watching was waiting. And who is it? Who's the perp? Who's that fat man? Who's the girl? In fact, it wasn't a girl. I mean, I remember how intense this was.
The 22nd on the Northwest Side. Since then, family and friends have been searching for the teen who was believed to be in danger just a day before she was set to be induced and have her baby. Over the weekend, Soto's mother pleaded for the community to come forward with any information about her missing daughter. The discovery of the 2 bodies earlier today by police, leaving Soto's family devastated. Many of her relatives were at the scene and understandably left heartbroken. News 4 San Antonio's Amanda Henderson is live where that discovery was made with more. Amanda?
Yeah, so we're going to go through all of this and then we'll go through some of the video so you can see what's going on with it. I'm looking at video where they're pulling up on Christopher Preciado. Literally, they had been watching the house and the guy comes up to him and he's like, wait, what happened? Because they had to watch the house, right? They've got these 3 perpetrators, the mom, the dad, and the mom, I'm just going to say the mom, the dad, and Chris. Marlena, thank you for becoming a Guilty of Crime member. Thank you for covering this case. I didn't know it had started. I know a lot of people didn't know. Yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of footage and just so many things going on.
Yeah, Jonathan, you can imagine it was just an outpouring of grief out here for hours today. Family members only really leaving maybe about an hour or 2 ago. Many of them just staring at the location of where the car was, in disbelief that Savannah and her boyfriend were likely found inside dead.
The search for Savanah Soto and her...
Now, I'm not categorizing anybody a drug dealer, but that's what this case is being called. It's being called the trial of the couple and the unborn child killed in a drug deal. And yes, Melissa, I see your comments, girl. I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you've been working and doing your thing. All right. All right, let's continue.
Boyfriend has come to a tragic end. San Antonio police believe Savannah and her boyfriend are the two people found dead in 2013 Kia Optima at a Northwest Side apartment complex.
My heart is broken right now. And nothing's ever going to replace her.
We first introduced you to Rachel Soto last night. Her pleas were simple: to help bring her pregnant granddaughter, Savanah Soto, home. Family has been looking for the 18-year-old since Saturday when she didn't show up to be induced. Less than 24 hours later, Rachel's pleas are now for you to remember her granddaughter for who she was.
She was a good girl. She loved sports. She played basketball with her brothers. But she was a heart. She was beautiful inside and out.
SAPD Chief William McManus says he's unable to confirm if either of the dead are pregnant and calls the...
Now, this case, they had of course, you guys, we always wait for press conferences. Are you okay, Clar? Is Clar in here? You feeling okay? You having some, well, prayers to you in chat. Okay, Sassy Sleuthy, welcome in. Twin Mommy Boys, Melissa, Kel, Holly, Mods, Bondage Barbie, welcome. Everybody, welcome. Hit that like button if you just rolled in. Hit that like button if you rolled out. Get yourself a membership if you can. All right, guys, let's continue. Yeah, she was 18. He was 22. She didn't do a damn thing wrong except be with the wrong guy, in my opinion. 18 years old. All right, she was going to have the baby the next freaking day.
Case complexing.
I don't want to go into details about that, but but again, I will repeat that it appears to be a very complex crime scene.
The case originated in Leon Valley, who sent out a clear alert. We asked Chief McManus why an alert wasn't sent out in San Antonio.
This originating in Leon Valley, that's why I came out from there, the alert, clear alert.
Was there ever any indication that SAPD should have put out a clear alert of their own?
No.
Tonight, Savannah's family is left devastated after she is the second person they have lost in...
Yeah, she lost her brother, and then she lost the mom lost her son and her daughter within 2 years. All right. So the search is on. That's what's happening right now. They tightened security for the courtroom trial right now because the trial is happening right now. Let me show you that real quick, and then I'll pop this back up there just to give you guys some of this and some of that. All right. So as the trial's happening, this monster, which is a little bitch, by the way, I hope he grows his hair out so he can be somebody's bitch. They had to tighten security on day one, and today people got kicked out of the courtroom. Let me show you real quick, because his father's in court.
Murder trial of
and his mom.
Preciado. The 21-year-old is accused in the 2023 murders of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn son. KSAT 12's Erica Hernandez takes us back inside the courtroom with more on what was presented to the jury today.
More than a dozen crime scene photos were shown to the jury today, too graphic for us to show you, but there was some significant evidence that was collected inside that vehicle Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto were found in, including this bullet. It was found behind the driver's seat. This was the only round found inside, but no gun was found. We also heard from a gunshot residue expert from the Bexar County Crime Lab who said her testing revealed that gunshot residue was found on both Guerra and Soto, but it could not be determined whether they handled a gun or were near the gun when it was fired. Prosecutors say Guerra met up with Christopher Preciado to sell him drugs, but Preciado executed him and Soto instead, apparently wanting to steal Guerra's money. We also heard from an SAPD detective who says Soto...
Yeah, so this is happening right now. So tomorrow, if you guys don't have anything to catch up on while you're working, go over to, Bexar County coverage in Texas and put this on. The Jab, good to see you. The trial is in Texas and it's happening right now. We're on Monday was jury, Monday was jury, Tuesday was opening statements, and then Wednesday is just what I'm showing you right now. They're starting to put the evidence out there.
Soto's phone last pinged outside Preciado's home, and that is what led them to charging him. We also saw body cam footage of when police first questioned Christopher Preciado outside his home and tell him they had a warrant to seize his father's truck.
You don't have any idea why we're taking the truck? Why we're contacting
See, they had been watching him and the whole family. As a matter of fact, guys, I think that's the first time I had ever seen what's the guy's name that we're watching down south dang it, I can't even think of it. I'll have to get back to you. He's one of the streamers like Dolly, but he's down south. He actually called in and he lived close, or he was watching them, and he called in a tip. And the police, the law enforcement was already watching them. And he walked up to him and he's like, I don't know. Remember, this is after, and they're looking for the truck.
What video are you referencing? The case I video?
Now, he denied knowing anything about the case as well. Later, a gun was found inside the Preciado home. Today, a hearing away from the jury was held on whether Ramon Preciado would be allowed in the courtroom during trial. Ramon is also facing charges related to the case, accused of trying to help his son cover
Look at how much weight he lost. Did you see that?
Up the crime. Judge Jennifer Pena did grant that request, and we shall see if Ramon appears in court. Now, Christopher Preciado would automatically be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole if he is convicted.
Which rightfully so. Okay, let's get back into it. They are not doing live streaming, guys. However, they're doing the recaps like this, and I could certainly do that and bring it to you. Right now, we're telling what happened as the search heats up for Savannah and Matthew and baby Fabian, right? That's why they issued that alert, because she was pregnant and going to be induced the next day.
2 years. Last year, her 15-year-old brother Ethan was shot and killed. Now they're hoping, as days pass, answers will come.
We were supposed to celebrate Christmas with her and baby. All she wanted was that baby. She didn't think about anything else. She was so ready to be a mom.
And just adding to the
It was on the Tierra, guys. It was the Emmanuel Haro case, and it was on the Tierra. I couldn't remember his name, but now I do. He called in, and that was the first time I'd ever seen him. I knew nothing about him. All right. Yes, he was. He was complaining about his diabetic, his medication. I wouldn't give him anything. He's out right now.
Heartbreak tonight. That family member who you heard from right before we just came back on air, she tells us tonight that she was actually tipped off to where the car was, called officials, but got here before them. So she went to the car, opened the door, saw a gruesome scene, and she even said that she couldn't believe the fact that Savannah could be dead. She thought maybe she had just passed out. She says that tonight they are just reeling with all of the information that is coming in. San Antonio Police has taken over the investigation at this point, so as more information becomes available, we will bring it to you.
Continuing our coverage tonight on the discovery of the bodies of Soto and her boyfriend. At this point, the police chief is not ready to say what kind of case detectives have on their hands or exactly what happened that led to the deaths. All that is still being...
Now, remember what the crime scene was, you guys, was the vehicle. And when they found the vehicle, there was mom in the front, which is Savannah. And what happened was they were both sitting up front. Now, allegedly, Chris got in the back seat and he was going to hand him his stuff, but instead he pulled out a gun, shot both of them, put the car seat on top of her stomach, and drug Matthew to the back and pulled his pants down, leaving his lower half exposed. So when they first found the bodies, they thought there was some kind of situation where someone was getting raped. They didn't know what was happening. All right. Yeah, they did. And we showed that earlier where somebody screamed, death-curdling scream.
Investigated. New tonight, the I-Team's Mariah Medina obtained court records that revealed Soto's boyfriend had been charged with violence against Soto in the past. Mariah?
That's right. Savanah Soto's boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, had been charged with assaulting her on Christmas Day of last year. Guerra received a...
That's what I wanted you to know as we were starting, because Matthew Guerra did have a record. He did get a domestic violence assault against Savannah. And I don't even know what the deal was, because now that I'm thinking about it, he was 22 and she was 18 and about to be about to give birth. So the parents must have been okay with her dating somebody older. But he wasn't a good guy, really. He's a victim, but
year of probation, and that was expected to end in June of 2024. But court documents show Guerra picked up more charges along the way. A violation report obtained by the I-Team shows that Guerra was charged with unlawful carry of a weapon, reckless driving, and evading arrest. His possession of a gun, a violation of his probation.
now we're talking about one of the victims here. I want you guys to realize that, okay? This is not about Chris. This is actually about Matthew Guerra, the father and the boyfriend of Savannah. Okay, it gets a little bit crazy because of that, but he still lost his life so senselessly.
Which prohibited him from having guns. Another condition of his probation was to not have harmful or injurious contact with Soto, his girlfriend. Police have provided no information indicating Guerra was involved in his girlfriend's death, but police not really saying much.
I remember
and detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, and but we don't know for sure.
As for whether there were any firearms in the car,
We don't know that yet. We have not been able to move.
Thank you for the reminder on that, my girl Tiff. That same thing may happen in court this week because Tiff, 2 people got kicked out today. So the charges that stemmed with Matthew was because remember Savannah's brother had died the year before and they were doing the trial or whatever. They were all in court and they were brawling in court. I actually saw the footage of them fighting. I remember that now. That was years ago, though. What's up, Indy Isham? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
Bodies.
Kenwood Park holds so much meaning for the Soto family.
We cry, we laugh, think about the good time, the sad time.
Rachel Soto finds herself here today with us, thinking of and talking about another sad time. We sit at a bench dedicated to her 15-year-old grandson, Ethan Soto. He was killed last year. Now Rachel is here talking about the loss of his sister, her granddaughter, Savanah Soto.
I think I'm gonna get up on my nightmare and Mika's gonna be there. I didn't think I was gonna go through this again, and here I am again.
Savannah and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, were found dead yesterday in a Kia Optima at a Northwest apartment complex. The discovery brought a tragic end to a search for the missing mother-to-be. It was set to be induced last Saturday.
She was looking forward to being a mom for the first time.
Police say the unborn child died as well.
Yeah, I just wish at least I would have been able to see him and hold him, but
Yeah, there was no way to save that baby. They had been there for 5 days already, so there's nothing that could have happened. I love that you guys are hungry right now. Everybody's hungry. You guys are straight up talking about food. I can't eat right now, but you can. So hit that like button for me while y'all are watching me do this.
I'll never have that privilege of doing that. What much more do I need to lose?
One day after Savannah and Matthew's bodies were found, Rachel says they're left with questions, especially as they don't know if the mother-to-be had any connections to the apartment complex where the car was found.
But if there is somebody on the run, you have a conscience. Do the right thing and turn yourself in.
Rachel is working with Pamela Allen and Eagles Flight to put together a vigil for Savannah and her unborn child.
I've heard the cries of so many moms and grandmas, and it still shakes the soul to hear those cries.
Their cries, Rachel says, she is experiencing for a second time, finding strength through prayer and Ethan's tree, which will soon also honor more of the Soto family.
And I know eventually
there's a lot of them, guys. It's crazy. Indy Isham, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. I don't see a sticker, but I'll take that. We'll pretend like it's an avocado. Y'all are talking about food, so why not? Thank you, Indy. I appreciate you. Jamie says, I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving, making burritos. Y'all are making burritos and pizzas and food and all that. Crazy.
we'll be adding something else there. She had seven brothers, and she was the only girl. She was the only girl. She was everything. She was everything.
Law enforcement sources tell me that San Antonio police didn't find a firearm or the cell phone of Savanah Soto's boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, in the car that the pair were found in Tuesday afternoon.
Now, you got to think about this, too. They're labeling him as a drug dealer. Well, he rightfully so. They didn't say exactly what drugs that he was dealing. We knew the particular one with Christopher was weed, but remember, they were way off base and they were looking for some cartel connections. And you know how we're going crazy with the Nancy Guthrie case? That's what's happening. Have baby guilty DoorDash y'all something, Jay. Listen, Foxy, I already DoorDashed her this morning. She says, Mom, you never make me lunch. I'm always hungry. And you could ask Mama Pearl. She eats like a grown man that plays football. So I had to DoorDash baby guilty I DoorDashed her Chick-fil-A. She got a chocolate milkshake, chicken strips, and a big bowl of chicken noodle soup. $30. It cost $30 for her lunch. Don't even get started on baby guilty DoorDashing. She puts the most. She's all, Mom's got it. We're good. Hit send. No. Don't give her any ideas.
Sources also sharing that Guerra's body was found in the back seat of the vehicle while Soto was in the front passenger seat with a child carrier on her lap. I talked to Guerra's family, who tell me everything that they did to find the expectant parents and frustrations with that process.
But once it was like the 2:30 p.m. mark, we started panicking.
Panic and nonstop calling and racing home, racing over there, and
calling police.
And I think this is super important because every episode that I do, I'll go into who the victims are. And then after going into the victims, we want to talk about the families, etc. That's why today we're going a little extra long because I'll really want you guys to have the full picture so y'all can go out and keep up on the trial. What are you guys saying? Jay, you're gay. Why are you supporting Chick-fil-A? Because she likes Chick-fil-A. And I don't know. I'm not going to tell her, hey, we can't have your chicken noodle soup because whatever. I don't know. I am gay, but so what? I support myself. Now what? Coco loves. Hey, what's up, Coco? Loves y'all. Yeah, you guys are having so much fun in chat. I want to be there. Kathy's falling asleep. Do me a favor. If you can drop her link in chat, that'd be awesome. You guys, please go sub up to her. Allie Callie says everything's so expensive. Don't get me started. Yeah, don't get me started either.
Gabriel and Raquel Guerra say they called 911 when they sensed their son and his girlfriend were in trouble. The husband and wife, who live in Bexar County, initially tried to file missing persons reports with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. Soto's family, who live in San Antonio, tried to file with San Antonio Police. But because Guerra and Soto lived in Leon Valley, the report had to be taken by Leon Valley Police.
I was told that they were trying to get the three agencies all the information they had and combine them into one report.
As this was happening, Gabriel says he was racing to his son's apartment, kicking down the door after he didn't get an answer, fearing the worst.
The candle.
The candle was on.
That was another sign that they had a candle on.
So you see, they just quickly had ran down to go give him a bag of weed. Now, nowadays it's legal, right? I'm in California in San Jose, and every freaking corner there's a dispensary. All right, you can just walk right in and go get it. They look at your ID and they let you move forward. All right, that's what could have been easily done there had they legalized, and they still haven't legalized weed in Texas. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but it is. Y'all are no soup for you for 2 years.
Gabriel says the lit candle and Savannah's diaper bag being left behind told them something was wrong. The house, he says, showing no signs of a struggle. Gabriel says he asked the Leon Valley police detective assigned to the case if they could track his son's cell phone location. He says a detective told him it was unlikely a judge would grant a warrant for that because there weren't exigent circumstances.
He basically said they're adults. If they want to disappear, they can disappear. And again, I reminded him,
Not only that, guys, but remember when they pulled up Matthew's background, they're like, oh, this guy's just a drug dealer. Go away. It's kind of like when prostitutes and like junkies go missing. Gilgo Beach, he did that for 30 years because nobody really cared where they were. That's what happened in this case. But Savannah wasn't that. All right. And I'll tell you what more. Why was there a carrier in the car? Because she was going to be induced, my friend. You have to, when you're induced, you still have to leave the hospital with a car seat. When's the last time you had a baby, Moore? We had a baby guilty's 11. So 12 years ago, I had that car seat strapped in for baby guilty for leaving the hospital. You got to have a car seat to leave the hospital. I'm not sure if I missed the question or what, but that's what it was. I was induced with my daughter and I went in at 7 a.m. and had her at 4:16 p.m. the same day. Damn, Chris, that's a long day. Baby guilty was scheduled for a C-section at 8 a.m. And I shit you not, or 8:30. It took 30 minutes. Done. We went in at 8. It started at 8:30, and by like 9:04, baby Guilty was out, and I was changing her freaking diaper. As soon as baby Guilty came out, she pooped, and the nurse is like, "Oh, I'm so glad she waited to use the bathroom after she came out, because that would have been a mess." Okay, you never had a baby. That makes sense then. All right. GOC, the smokers smoke openly anyway, and nothing's happened. Okay, all right, that makes sense then. All right, she's with her baby. Thank you for the prayers for Savannah and Matthew.
The baby's overdue.
And Fabian.
It's been overdue. They missed her due date, and to me, that's a life-threatening. There should have been more urgency.
We reached out to the Leon Valley detective assigned to the missing persons case to see if a warrant was ever sought. The detective replied that he was instructed by the Leon Valley chief of police to direct questions about the investigation to...
Look at how many people there are. That's a family, guys. These are all family members. That's what's going down in court right now.
San Antonio police. He stated that he was not authorized to make any further comments.
I never knew a pain like this existed. You hear about a parent losing a child, and you're like, man, I can't imagine what they're going through. It's exactly how it is. You can't imagine it.
The couple, expected to become first-time grandparents this holiday season, now mourning a son, a grandson, and their would-be grandson's mother.
I just hope we can get to the bottom of this. And justice be served, because I just can't fathom how anybody could do that to a pregnant woman. I just can't.
I feel so bad, man. These parents, I feel bad for all the parents, but Savannah was 18. She was stuck with Matthew. He had domestic violence already. She was having a baby. I don't think their relationship would have turned out okay, but at least she would have had the chance to walk away, have a baby, whatever. This is heartbreaking to find your daughter and the baby's dad on Christmas. Damn.
Get that out of my head.
While Soto's murder would be considered capital murder under Texas law because she was pregnant, San Antonio police shared a synopsis which lists Guerra, Soto, as well as her unborn son as victims, apparently signaling law enforcement's belief that both Guerra and Soto were murdered.
We have a video here.
Now, listen, I'm so glad that they charged with baby Fabian, because baby Fabian was full born, like ready to go. Had Christopher let them do their thing, the baby Fabian was, you guys saw him. This is him. This is actually him right there in the black and white pictures up top. He was full born already, full grown, ready to go. And the fact that she didn't get to get induced, and that's what they did to him at the funeral, and they put him in the casket. All right. So, man, now back to the press conference, which, by the way, there's a bunch of press conferences, but we're condensing this all down. All right. So we can get the whole thing in one episode. Oh, my goodness. Look what I just did. Rookie move. All right. Christmas.
To become first-time grandparents this holiday season, now mourning a son, a grandson, and their would-be grandson's mother.
I just hope we can get to the bottom of this.
Oh, this video. All right, I'm going to do this video big because you guys got to see this. And listen, Jens and Gypsy, I am not a rookie. I would never come on here and eat a chicken wing or anything while I'm streaming. That's like me working, got my microphone, reporting on news, and taking a bite of a chicken leg. I have more control than that. Come on. All right. Bondage Barbie. I have a cat named Sir Catrick Stewart, and I play Jay on my phone again. You're crazy, Bondage Barbie. All right, let's take a look at this big. This is the big piece of evidence that actually got these monsters caught. Christopher, Ramon, and Murda both helped clean up that scene. All right. There's his dad's truck. There's his dad and his stepmom. The bodies are in here. So Christopher Preciado is driving, and his dad got out of the car to help him wipe down. And look at right there. There's a towel coming out of the back. She put her hand out to hand him. Don't forget to wipe it down. But there's also dead body. There's a dead body here. 2 of them here, and then one in the back with his pants pulled down. So he just drug him in the back, pulled his pants down. Yeah, it is another Soto, but not related to that Soto. Look at that evidence. That's the evidence that we were watching for some time before they got caught. That's the victim's car. That's the dad and the stepmom. The stepmom's handing the towel, and Christopher Preciado's driving with the dead bodies. He's ultimately going to drop the car off at the apartment complex, and they're going to take him home. All right.
Mourners gathered for a prayer vigil in memory of 18-year-old Savanah Soto and her unborn child.
And I don't know if any of y'all remember this case in real time, but that was the evidence that we had. This is like for the Nancy Guthrie case where we keep looking at those damn camera footage and comparing faces. That's what everyone was doing. We thought it was a woman and a fat man, and then no one even saw the hand out of the back until we went closer, right? Over nothing, execution style robbery gone wrong, apparently, right? He called Savannah and Matthew over to drop him off a bag of weed. They pulled up. He got in the back seat, got the weed, and instead of paying for it, he shot one in the back of the head and then the other in the back of the head. Drug Matthew out of the front seat, put him in the passenger seat, in the back seat, pulled his pants down. He hopped in the front. He took the baby car seat out of the back so he could fit Matthew in. He put the car seat on her belly, and he took off to get his mom, his stepmom, and his dad to help him clean the crime scene. Right? Yeah, you remember that too. I can remember the manhunt for the perps. Oh my God. Social media was all over it. And that's why I'm surprised people aren't all over it right now. Oh, hold on.
Family members and friends speaking about the young girl taken too soon. Her grandmother said a tree will be planted at the park in Savannah and Fabian's memory. It will be placed next to her brother Ethan's tree. He was tragically killed 2 years ago.
All of us having this vigil right now, we should be celebrating her birth, the birth of her son. We can't do that anymore. We won't see her anymore.
I mean, in my opinion, when the perpetrator does something like that to the victim, it shows jealousy, anger, hate, and I think he did that to also throw the investigation off. Okay, but I'm sure that he sought after. He was like, oh, this guy's got money, a nice car, he's got drugs, his girlfriend's there and pregnant. I think it was a bit of wanting to see him be humiliated. Yeah, absolutely. That happens all the time in cases like this.
He is in a better place with her brother Ethan, but our lives will never be the same.
Yep.
We were barely recovering from Ethan's loss a year ago, and now we're going through this again. If she suffered, don't know if she suffered. Don't know what her thoughts were. Don't know if she was yelling, if she was screaming. I don't know, and we'll never know. All I want for
I don't think she suffered long, you guys. It was the back of the head. Just quick and done. It's terrible, but I think it was just one and done. And I don't think Squeaky Will, you're right. So we can add this case, the Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra case, to the cases of social media helping to solve a crime. You're absolutely right, Squeaky Will. The internet is the one that pointed out that damn towel, and then they realized it was the mom. They went back to camera footage on the tierra, called in and said he lives with his mom, his stepdad. Then they started watching the house and piecing it together, and they knew that it had to have been the mom, the dad, and him. So that's what happened. I agree. All right, let's continue. I think this clip we saw earlier. Let's talk about district attorney and the charges.
The Capital Crimes Committee, and we all have a vote in deciding whether or not to seek the death penalty on any individual.
Gonzalez says when a prosecutor gets a capital murder case, they review the file and present to the committee.
One of the things that the committee considers, obviously, is the factors that make this a capital crime, how egregious the offense is.
With capital cases, once a defendant is...
Yeah, I think you missed that video. And you know what the messed up part is, the jab? Yeah, the dad tried to help him cover up. He went and got a rag and cleaned down the evidence and then dumped the bodies with his son. But you want to know the kicker? They're in trial, right? They're at trial literally right now. Tomorrow's day 3. And his defense is that his dad did it. He's blaming his dad for it. He said it was an accident, but his dad did it. And you got to remember that gun came from his stepmother and the house. So technically, they can charge his dad real hefty too. His dad is on the hook, the jab. Ramon Preciado is the guy that got out of the truck and wiped down the car. You see this? He's lost a lot of weight since, but he's a big guy. And his charges, he's been out on bond, but he got tampering with the corpse, and tampering with evidence with intent to impair human corpse, abuse of corpse without legal authority, and altering, destroying, or concealing human remains. All right. His charges are still pending. He's going to go to trial. He's out on bond. They also arrested Murda, but they let her out because they didn't have enough evidence to go to trial. But they reserved the right to try her at any other time. Yeah, he's out on bond. Not this guy. This guy's locked up in court. The dad's out on bond. He's actually in the court right now watching his son on trial. All right, let's continue. Let's get this. It's crazy to see him in the courtroom right behind his son.
Found guilty. The DA's office then separately argues special issues illustrating why the person should be put to death as opposed to life without the possibility of parole.
Whether the defendant is a continuing threat to society is one of the special issues. Another special issue is whether or not there's any mitigation against the death penalty. So those are factors that we discuss in the committee.
In Texas, there are a number of acts that qualify as capital murder. Killing a pregnant person or killing multiple people, like in the deaths of Savanah Soto and.
Now remember, it took almost 3 years to get to trial. Those were all of the things that were happening behind the scenes that led us to today. Canvas and crime. Hope you meet your goal. I enjoy your coverage. Well, thank you. Shout out to Canvas and Crime, and thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue.
Her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra. But in some cases, people can be charged with a crime despite never pulling the trigger.
But anybody who assists or agrees to help out or solicits or encourages a criminal act can be liable for the entire thing.
Police released this video of persons of interest in their murders yesterday, asking the public.
I'm going to make it bigger again because the jab said, did the dad help? You're going to see the dad get out of the car and welcome Canvas and Crime to the Crime Crew official. You're a Crime Crew official member. Woo! All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go bigger so we can see that again. Watch his dad hop out of the truck.
For help identifying them. One behind the wheel of Soto's Kia and the other.
You see that? That's the only thing we had to go on was the truck. We knew that was Matthew and Savannah's car and the dad's big fat belly back then. It seems like he lost weight. Oh my goodness. Canvas and Crime just gifted 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. If you receive those memberships, please thank them. All right, let's continue.
Exiting the driver's seat of a truck, handing a towel to the driver of the Kia. Police believe to wipe the side of the Kia down.
Everybody is treated the same and charged with the same thing. So clearly the folks in that video were aiding and abetting somebody who'd gotten away with murder at the very least. So they need to be concerned that they could be charged with all of it.
Locke says with the death penalty on the table and police likely closing in, the suspect or suspects should get an attorney and voluntarily turn themselves in.
It is something that people often tell themselves that they can outsmart law enforcement or they can do something clever. But many times the cleverest thing you could do is to contact a lawyer.
The DA says it's too early to say definitively whether he'll pursue the death penalty and any arrests that might result in this case. However, he said given the callousness of this crime, it's certainly one the committee would consider.
The case is being followed nationwide and theories are floating around social media.
Again, that's what I remember about this case. And I was like, no way they're going on trial. I never heard about it again. It just kind of went under the radar. I thought it was all said and done. And then here you go. We pop up and today is day 3. All right. Or tomorrow's day 3. Jury was day 1. Opening statements day 2 and then day 3. All right. Whatever. Anyway, I'll keep you guys up to date, but I didn't know what happened. This is the footage that we kept watching over and over again. All the sleuths were watching it. I'm really surprised people aren't covering the trial.
That's not helping the situation. That's not helping the process.
That's crazy.
All they're doing is slowing down the process.
Savanah Soto's family says while they appreciate so many people wanting justice for Savannah, Matthew, and their unborn son, they also say all the attention is overwhelming and at times hurtful. As Fox SA's Stephanie Esquivel explains, they are worried misinformation on social media could interfere with the investigation.
You know that some person was involved or whoever was.
Absolutely, Maggie. Well, just think about the laundries, okay? Think about Brian Laundrie and the laundries and the whole cover up. Yes, he went straight to his dad. He said, Dad, something happened. I need you to help me clean it up. The dad shows up, gets a rag, wipes it down, and they drop the bodies off inside of a parking lot of an apartment complex. He hops in the dad's truck with the stepmom and they go home. All right.
Was involved. Yes, of course, we ask that you come forward. But if you're just assuming or trying, oh yes, this dude looks like him, and like.
Savanah Soto's aunt, Valerie Mendoza, hopes anyone with information on who could be responsible for the deaths of Savannah, her boyfriend Matthew Guerra, and their unborn son Fabian will step forward. With more than 150,000 members on the Find Savanah Soto Facebook group page, Mendoza says the rumors.
That's why that's crazy. Like every sleuth was on it, like Nancy Guthrie, and I don't see anybody covering it. So don't worry, Canvas and Crime. I'm covering it. I'm getting you up to speed. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that. Very sad. Deb says, what did I miss? How did they know where the car was before the police did? Well, they didn't know where the car was before the police did. It was a mile from their freaking house. So somebody spotted it and they went up to the car and they found what they found. They didn't know. They were just looking. They were doing their due diligence like anybody would if their child was missing, and they found what they didn't want to. Yeah, I forgot all about it too.
Theories and misinformation going around needs to stop because she's afraid it could hurt the investigation.
You're just slowing down the process, and that's not going to help any. Of course they have leads, and
really?
They want to look into every single one.
Because detectives are following every lead, Mendoza says she hopes out of respect, people will stop speculating about what happened.
If you're not 100%,
Now, this didn't stop me. I just wasn't streaming at that time. All right. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. This happens with every other case on my channel thus far. Do you agree? Law enforcement comes in, media comes in and says, stop speculating. And then we find something, us web sleuths find something like the towel in the hand being put out, and we realize there was another perpetrator. All right. So that's going to happen, you guys. We're going to time and time again. This is going to happen. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue.
About it, then we don't want to hear it.
We don't want to hear it.
Just let the detectives do what they need to do. And I believe from the bottom of my heart that they're going to get who did this.
Instead of opening Christmas presents and celebrating the new year, the Soto family is now having to make funeral arrangements for Savannah and Fabian. It's something Eagles Flight CEO Pamela Allen is helping the family with.
We're offering assistance and support for the mom who's in charge of organizing burials for two of her family members.
Anderson says the increasing national attention on the case is adding challenges. The vigil held.
Now, if anyone's confused, I don't want you to be, because I'm here to guide you through this. Savannah was found. Everybody was found. All three bodies were found in that car. Baby Fabian was in her stomach, ready to be born. Matthew was in the back seat, and she was in the front seat with the baby carrier on her stomach. There's no more mystery. This is just happening as the case unfolded.
On Thursday for Savannah and Fabian had much larger turnout than expected.
We were a bit overwhelmed by the amount of people there. And then they expect the same response at the funeral and burial for Savannah and Fabian.
Here right now to give him a big hug because I miss him. I wish this didn't happen.
Aww, that's Matthew's older brother. Damn, the whole family came together for this. I gotta give them that.
Of pure torment as Matthew Guerra's brothers remember the excitement they say Matthew felt to become a father for the first time. Matthew's father, Gabriel Guerra, and his wife Raquel admit this is not the way they expected to be spending New Year's Day.
Never, not in a million years. Not in a million years.
I possibly thought that I'd be babysitting Fabian for New Year's or something. Me and Savannah talked about so many things we had planned for Fabian.
The San Antonio Police Department released.
So one of the articles got the name wrong, so I'm going to correct this for them and for everyone. Fabian was the baby's name. One of the articles said David, and I'm like, wait, what? Where'd they pull that name out of? Fabian. We got justice for Savannah, Matthew, and Fabian. This Christopher Preciado character is on trial, and he's facing 3 counts of capital M, including the unborn child, tampering with evidence, which he cleaned up the crime scene and dumped the bodies, right? So abuse of a corpse, all of this is ×3 at this point. All right, let's get back to it.
Surveillance video last week that detectives say show 2 persons of interest that could know what led up to the young family's final moments.
Like I said, there's cameras everywhere, and in my heart of hearts, hopefully it's just a matter of time before something is found.
Gabriel says investigators told him there is still a lot of evidence to comb through. He says he remains hopeful and confident police will find the person or people.
It took 13 days to find them. That's not that long, by the way. And yeah, it might be allergies, guys. Mrs. Guilty actually stayed home today because she has a migraine. I got home early because I had to pick up baby Guilty, and freaking she was here at home in bed. And I'm like, wait, what happened? A migraine. She's had a migraine for 2 days. Guys, it might be the allergies. All right, let's continue. And I'm sorry for anybody that's got a migraine. I'll try to keep it down. I'll do my best. Lower me.
Responsible.
He has a bunch of videos that he has to go through, and it's going to take a while to go through all the evidence, and they're waiting for the warrants to come back with the phones to see what other information that can lead from them.
Matthew's brothers say they don't understand why no arrests have been made with the tips people have been calling in.
The videos are popping out, and they're just not doing enough with this investigation by trying to find out who did this. They have all these videos, but they still have no leads.
Breaking overnight, a father and son arrested and facing charges in the murder of her pregnant teen and her boyfriend, 19-year-old Christopher.
And this is where it begins. Welcome in, guys. We've been here for an hour and 36 minutes, and we're just getting started. Just kidding. This is where it begins. Everything starts to move fast. Now we see who these characters are, and we'll get you caught up to trial day 3 tomorrow, or day 4, whatever one it is. I can't keep track.
Preciado is charged with capital murder in the deaths of 18-year-old Savanah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra. 53-year-old Raymond Preciado is charged with abuse of a corpse, accused of trying to get rid of their bodies. The couple disappeared a day before Soto was scheduled to be induced. Police say Savannah's cell phone led to this big break. They say they were able to find it at the scene, and with the help of the Secret Service, it led them to information on their suspects. Ramon, not talking to our cameras as he was taken to jail. You see that here. He's accused of helping his son dispose of the bodies of Soto, her unborn son Fabian, and boyfriend Matthew Guerra after they were killed. Police say the son, Christopher, is the one who killed the 3 during a drug deal. On December 28th, police released that surveillance video, you saw it here, of that truck pulling up next to the missing Kia with the bodies inside in the back of the apartment. Since then, they say they have gotten a lot of tips.
Absolutely senseless, you guys. There's no reason for that at all. And you're right, to the person that said that Matthew shouldn't have been taking his pregnant girlfriend with him on a deal. I absolutely agree. This whole thing is just senseless, guys. None of this should have happened whatsoever. All right. I hope everybody feels better. I'm glad you guys are still here. If you guys leave, hit that like button and come back tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. We always have fun on Fridays.
There was a lot of misinformation out there. These 2 individuals are the only suspects that we were looking for. They were arrested. There were many names being thrown around on the internet. Those people had nothing to do with this. We vetted them and everything. They didn't have anything to do with these murders.
And now the district attorney will decide on more charges against the pair since there was the death of that unborn child. The DA, Joe Gonzalez, tells us he intends to prosecute, quote, to the fullest extent of the law. For now, the father and son remain behind bars. Bonds again raised this morning as more charges were added. They stand at $600,000 for the father and $2 million for the son. We've just got new mugshots of the father and son charged in the shooting deaths of the expected.
You see how the episode is today? It's one of those episodes where we are watching like Dateline. You see the whole thing through. That's the only way I knew how to capture this whole case in one episode. Otherwise, I'd be here for like 20 hours with what that's okay, monkey biz. I also don't have a big belly and I didn't murder anyone. So there you go. Maybe you should show your face in your picture. Get the troll out of here. Why you call him fat boy? You're not so slim yourself. You're not part of the crime crew. Get out of here. But you do make good conversation. People are absolutely, I got her. She can't come back unless she makes a new name. I assure you, I don't have a belly like that. Trolls, go away. We're talking about literally a mother expecting, and they found the bodies on Christmas, and you're going to come in here and wow, people are outrageous.
Parents Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra, along with their unborn son. Ramon Preciado is accused of helping his son Christopher cover up the crime. They say the murders happened during a drug deal days before Christmas. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jonathan Martinez.
I'm Mandy Noel. It's been 8 days since the bodies of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra were found in the parking lot of an apartment complex on the northwest side. Tonight, we hear from a father who says the arrests make him feel a step closer to justice.
And News 4 San Antonio, Stephanie Esquivel spoke to Matthew's parents, who are now left with lots of questions.
It was like a weight lifted, off my shoulders. I was already getting anxiety. What if we don't get what if no one's ever arrested for these murders? And at least that part, I could start, getting closure on that part, that we can hold someone responsible.
Matthew's dad, Gabriel Guerra, and his wife, Raquel, say they are grateful arrests have been made. They feel this is one step closer to justice. Tonight, they are still questioning why police believe 19-year-old suspect Christopher Preciado pulled the trigger.
Now, listen, Mo, we're going to find out that. That's the good thing about this is everything's coming out in court. But I think you're right. I don't think that they would have left the candle on and just ran out of the house if it was going to be, here's $20. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're going to see what happens. Thank you, Canvas and Crime. Got to push forward on my art for some upcoming shows. So head on. We'll be listening. Hope you reach your goal. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. And I want you to know I am an artist too. I'm a tattoo artist, a graphic artist, and just an artist all around. So I'm glad that you found my channel. Now I'm doing the art of true crime. But thank you. I hope that you get through your show. I would love to see your work. All right. And I hope you get your stuff done. I have almost 2,000 videos that you can go back and watch on my playlist. Go check it out. I love you too, shoe booty. Oh, let's go.
I may never get some of the answers that I want. I still, even after the affidavit, I don't know exactly what happened, if it was inside, outside.
The arrest report states the killings happened during a drug deal.
Like I tell everyone, he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. I'm just upset that he never got the opportunity to turn his life around.
Gabriel says he talked to Matthew several times, trying to influence him to make better choices.
There are certain situations you don't want to put yourself in that could jeopardize you not being there for your family. Because I told him, Dad, you got to be there every single day.
It's a little bit different. You're right, Synth. The father looked like he was carrying a baby elephant. When he hopped out of the truck, he got out first and he brought his stomach with him. And that's what we were looking for during that time. Tiff Knox is in the house. Hey, Tiff, you remember that when we were trying to find who the hell that was? We thought it was a female with the long hair and then the freaking baby elephant belly. Now, I don't ever talk about I don't call people fat or stuff like that, but he deserves it with this baby elephant and what he did. All right. All right, let's continue.
Although Gabriel and Raquel admit that Matthew and Savannah put themselves in the situation that led to their death, they want Christopher to face the harshest consequence possible.
And in my opinion, a life for a life. He didn't even give my grandchild a chance to live. And I feel he deserves what he did to them.
Gabriel says he also wants a harsh punishment for Christopher's.
You know what was crazy about this? We waited for the perp walk. And Tiff, do you remember this? Everybody was freaking out because the perp walk, they normally don't let the media and people be around them like that. Like, I mean, they didn't even give him 2 millimeters. They were all up in his grill, and they did that to all of them. Look at how close. I mean, somebody could have been pissed at him and just reached out and stabbed him right in the baby elephant. All right. Now, Bondage Barbie, hey, drop your link. If you're selling some glitter and you got 1,000 colors, drop your link in chat, girl. Go for it. Everybody buy Bondage Barbie's glitter. I support everybody. I support creators, whatever. Yeah, do some get it, girl. All right, let's go.
His father, 53-year-old Ramon Preciado. Preciado is accused of helping his son hide the bodies and get rid of evidence.
Absolutely not. You know, I was always there for Matthew, but one thing I never did was I never bailed him out. You know, I always told him there's consequences.
The Guerra family says they will also push for a third capital murder charge since
Yes.
the young couple's unborn son is also a victim.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened already.
Stephanie Escobar, News 4, San Antonio.
Okay, so here's a recap of what police have shared about this case so far. Police say 19-year-old Christopher Preciado is believed to be the person who pulled the trigger, killing both Soto and Guerra. His father, Ramon Preciado, is accused of helping his son move their bodies. Both were arrested at their home last night. Investigators say they were able to track them down using information on Savannah's cell phone, which they found in her car.
Christopher, we believe, committed the murders of Matthew and Savannah. It appears to be a narcotic-related deal that went bad.
Christopher is charged with capital murder. The district attorney's office will decide whether to add a third count of capital murder for the couple's unborn son and will also decide whether to pursue the death penalty. Ramon is being charged with abuse of a corpse.
Robert Price is live this afternoon at Public Safety Headquarters, where police chief and district attorney have just wrapped up a news conference. Hey, Robert.
All right, now we're going to hear what the actual charges are and from the family. I mean, dang. Yeah, drop your link, Canvas and Crime. Any of you guys can drop your links in chat. We're good. Let's go.
Good afternoon, Diana and David. Chief William McManus and District Attorney Joe Gonzalez spoke for about 15 minutes late this morning, offering their first public comments since these arrests 2 days ago and making a few new headlines in the process. First off, let's tell you what the chief says. He says the gun has now been recovered, the gun believed to be the murder weapon. This happened during a search yesterday of the home of Christopher Preciado, the 19-year-old, the same home the 19-year-old shares with his father, Ramon. Now, as for whether the DA will seek the death penalty in this case, Joe Gonzalez says it is too early to say.
She was a baby, you guys, and look at the pictures of the baby shower with them. Now, they were all babies, right? 18, 22, and then literally Fabian that was about to be born. All right, what's up, Jen's a Gypsy? Why don't you get gifted memberships? I'm always trying to throw the green at you, and I don't know what happens. All right, let's continue. That's so sad, guys. And I wish this guy didn't do that. Bad choices, man. Bad decisions, buddy.
Quote, he does not want to put the cart before the horse. However, something he would address was whether the unborn child of 18-year-old Savanah Soto, baby Fabian, would be included as a victim in these new charges. Here's a listen at what he had to say about that.
Clearly, we have enough to charge Christopher with Preciado with capital murder because we have 2 adult victims. But under Texas law, when an unborn child, and it's under whatever period of gestation, is that unborn child is considered a person under Texas law for purposes of including an unborn child as an additional count for capital murder.
Now, one more thing to pass along here. The chief says an additional charge has now been filed against Christopher Preciado, the 19-year-old, abuse of a corpse. That's the same charge his father currently faces.
Tears and heartache as loved ones shared how much they're going to miss 22-year-old Matthew Guerra. Briefly setting that pain aside and focusing on Matthew's cheerful and silly personality. Matthew's father, Gabriel Guerra, says he thought the services for his son were going to have to be closed casket.
Because of the time of the murder and the time of the...
See, that's what I was telling you guys. Even the baby they were able to make look like a baby. And that's not my thing. Again, it's different religions, different strokes for different folks. I'm not into that, but they did. And I was unbelievable. I was actually like, I don't really want to see that picture. And it wasn't so bad, but may they rest in peace, you guys. Such a senseless crime.
bodies were found, I'm not able to have an open casket for Matthew.
With the help of Mission Park Funeral Chapel, Matthew's family was able to see him as he shared some final farewells. Matthew's funeral services will be Tuesday morning at Mission Park Funeral Chapel, and his burial will be at San Jose Burial Park. Savanah and the young couple's unborn son Fabian will be buried together at a separate location. The dates for their services have not been announced.
Yeah, that was just one of the wildest things. The baby is now dark scale creatures. We're running through this story, and I want to tell you right now that's happening. He is being charged with a third victim. So the baby is separate. And wow, thank you. You're so generous. Canvas and Crime. I thank you. You guys, please thank Canvas and Crime if you received a gifted membership. Yeah, 18 and 22, and the baby wasn't born. And the shooter was only 19 years old. He threw his entire life away.
To new developments now in the capital murder case of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Tonight, San Antonio police have arrested a third person connected to their murders.
Remember, this is the hand towel lady that we didn't see until the sleuth saw him, right? So is that a hand? What is that? A towel? Boom. There she goes. There's our perp walk.
47-year-old Myrta Romanos. According to the arrest affidavit, her gun was used in the murders. She's believed to be the stepmother of the alleged murderer, Christian Preciado, and Ramon Preciado Jr.'s wife. Ramon is Christian's father. He is accused of helping Christian move the bodies. According to SAPD, Romanos is the final suspect in this case.
We were able to develop information from surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck.
Romanos will be charged with 3 felonies: altering, destroying, or concealing a human corpse, abusing a corpse, and tampering with evidence. SAPD believes all suspects are now in custody.
As of right now, there are even the impression there are any more suspects.
And again, nobody saw that damn towel. The sleuths were all over it. You can clearly see it after you watch it like 100 times, right? What's up, Julie? How you doing? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
At this time, we're confident that there's no more suspects. At this time, we're confident that these were the 3 individuals that were involved in this case.
Police would not say where the murders of Guerra and Soto happened, except that they know it was in the area of the suspect's home.
Melissa Vega at the live desk happening right now. We are still waiting on the official booking photo from the Bexar County Jail of Myrta Romanos, but we do have some new video coming into our newsroom tonight at the magistrate. Our cameras capturing Romanos in the very preliminary stages of her criminal proceedings. Again, she is facing 3 charges, including abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and altering, destroying, or concealing a human corpse.
Now, I believe it was her firearm that he took. So he went in her closet. I believe it was registered to her, and he went and used that. And she's not even charged anymore. They dropped the charges. She's off the hook. I don't know how they did that when he used her weapon. She should be charged for something. I wonder if they're going to come back and charge her, guys.
All 3 felony charges, each with their own bond set. And we learned just a short time ago those 3 bonds total to more than $1 million. Of course, as soon as we get her arrest photo, she's currently still going through the process of getting booked into the Bexar County Jail. We will share.
Well, she's out now, damn it.
And just the smile he would put on my face.
An excruciatingly painful time for Matthew Guerra's father, Gabriel, just one day after Matthew's burial and seeing his unborn grandson, Fabian, for the first time.
It's not the way I wanted to meet Fabian, but most definitely, get to seeing him, and he looked like Savannah, and just him being.
That is the most wild thing, and you really do got to have some true faith when you do something like that. I mean, they're talking about meeting the baby, and the baby wasn't even alive. They did the makeup, and oh God. All right. Yeah, it was Tiff Knox. It was just over a little bit of money. I think that he needed money is what they were saying. Like him and his parents were broke. And he decided, hey, this guy's running around flossing. If you were to actually look at Matthew Guerra's social media back then, he'd be on there with hundreds, and you know the ones that floss, the guys that are out there with their cars and I think his social media was like that. And this guy said, "Nah, well, we're gonna take that smug look off his face and I'm gonna rob him." And then he decided to shoot him from behind, allegedly. Right? All right, let's continue.
On top of Matthew, and being close to Matthew, it meant the world to me.
A third arrest in connection with the young family's killing is made.
Perfect timing with God, and just giving me comfort or something to help me during a difficult time.
Gabriel says he wants the harshest punishment possible for the third suspect, Mirta Romanos, who is accused of helping to cover up the crime. But Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez says adding additional charges.
Yeah, they didn't do that squeaky wheel until people were calling them out and calling the police and making a big stink about there's another car in there. She just put her hand out. She is just as guilty as the well. I agree. Her weapon, her towel, and she was there right next to those dead bodies. I just don't understand. He does have snake eyes. I was trying to think of what it looks like.
Doesn't seem likely right now.
I certainly understand why the family would like to see others, the parents, for example, charged with capital murder, but the law requires that we have some evidence of that.
Regardless of the charges or punishment, Gabriel says he's relieved that police found the evidence needed to arrest Romanos because the other two suspects, Romanos' husband, Ramon Preciado, and her stepson, Christopher Preciado, were not telling the entire truth.
They were trying to protect her from being arrested, like trying to take the blame for everything and not including her.
Yesterday was the 1-month anniversary of the young family's.
Right. She technically didn't even need to go either, but I guess, right? What do you mean? What is wrong with? Oh, I thought you were like asking a real question. That's not a real question. That's welcome to 2026.
Death, and with this tragic loss for the Soto family also came a lot of nationwide attention. That's why the family wanted to keep today's funeral and burial services intimate and private. Savannah's paternal grandmother Rachel told me yesterday at Savannah's viewing and rosary, it was the first time most of Savannah's family and friends saw her since she disappeared right before Christmas. Although these past 2 days have brought overwhelming emotions for her, she says that much of the Soto family feels a sense of relief to finally lay Savannah and Fabian to rest. Now, because this has been so much to process, Rachel tells me that the family is focused on grieving today, but this weekend they are planning a celebration of life for Savannah right here at Penwood Park.
I never got to talk to her again.
The last time Pedro Soto spoke to his daughter Savannah, she was excited to give her dad his Christmas gift.
She had just told me she wanted to give me my gifts for Christmas because she was going to get induced that Saturday, and I never got to talk to her again. So a month later, here we are. I finally got my gift.
A Harley Davidson t-shirt, koozie, and artwork.
And every year Christmas comes around.
Now remember, all of these people that are supporting the family are also the people that are in court. So you can imagine why people are getting kicked out of court. You've got these Hispanics and other Hispanics. You got some like gangster type of, and I'm not saying they all are, but some of them are. I mean, they're clearly into gangs and drugs and things. Bowie's barking. Hold on. Here, let me play that. I'll grab her.
I'll take them out, as a memory from my heart. I love them.
This was all possible thanks to Matthew Guerra's father, Gabriel.
Matthew's father reached out to me yesterday and said that he wanted to give me something. He didn't tell me what it was, but I kind of felt it was a good thing,
Earlier this week, police released the couple's apartment back to Guerra's family. Soto says Guerra's father's act of kindness allowed the families to reconnect and heal.
Because that's the right thing. I know my daughter, his son would want that, and we're going to continue talking. These will be the...
You sure do have a party mouth. How about you grow that hair out again for me, boy? Show me your party mouth. They're going to love him in prison. I agree. He's just a little tiny piece of crap. He's nothing. He literally is just a broke, jealous piece of garbage. And I hope that they love him in prison. Grow your hair out, boy. You sure do have a party mouth.
Last gift I'll receive from my daughter,
A final gift that he says he'll cherish for the rest of his life.
It's going to be hard, you know. It's hard every day. You just got to be strong, and she's not suffering. You know, she's in a better place.
It's here at Kenwood Park where Savannah's family and the community come to remember her and her baby Fabian. Soon, 2 trees will be planted in their memory.
You know, like I told my wife, I don't know if I will ever accept this as God's plan, or, you know, this is how it was designed to be.
Gabriel Guerra, Matthew Guerra's father, says he speaks to his son every morning through prayer.
I tell my wife all the time, if the situation was reversed, at very best, I'd be like, Matt, turn yourself in. It's going to help you. It's going to look better. You know, I wouldn't be like, hey, let's go and dump the bodies. And
You see the difference. I'm glad this clip is in there, because even the dad was saying, and people can say what they want. There's parents that will say, hey, get the shovel, I'm digging for you. But I mean, there's good people, and then there's just bottom of the scum, like the Laundries and this family. These guys are just pieces of garbage. They're actually lucky that she's out of the charges, because this guy, the whale, is going to be facing some big charges. This guy, Christopher's never going to get out, I assure you. I don't think he's going to get out, and he's not going to get parole, in my opinion. He still has his trial, and she's got to be out funding them, right? You need commissary. That's why they didn't want to turn her in. Say hello to Bubba. You sure do have a purty mouth. Don't drop that soap, boy. All right, let's continue. Bunch of pieces of garbage. All right.
And let's have a Merry Christmas and put up a front, and hopefully no one catches us.
It's been over a month since 19-year-old Christopher Preciado was charged with capital murder, and his father, 53-year-old Ramon.
You guys remember when we were trying to find out who did it and we thought it was a girl? We totally thought it was a girl. Even during the perp walk, everybody was speculating that it was a girl. So if you got a female, you got Ozzy Osbourne, lover, and then you got the whale.
Preciado was charged with abuse of a corpse in Savannah and Matthew's executions. 47-year-old Mirta Romanos was also arrested and faces charges, which include abuse of a corpse.
This can't be in vain. Like, some good needs to come out of it somehow, some way. For one, there's got to be justice. And some kind of healing on our part.
While Guerra says time is helping him heal with his son's death, he wants justice and won't settle for anything less than the death penalty.
Death. I need to own someone's arm. Even if they get life in prison, they would still be able to get notes and letters, and to me, that wouldn't be justice.
Justice for his son, who bought a baseball mitt for his baby Fabian, and who wanted to play catch with him like they did together. A son who loves sports, his family, and the Lord.
You know, he was full of life, full of joy, excited to start the next chapter in his life and move on. And there was a lot of plans for him in Savannah. Unfortunately, they didn't get a chance to live out.
According to Gabriel Guerra, the last time he spoke to the district attorney's office, they told him that no one has been charged with baby Fabian's murder. He says that information does not sit well with him or his family.
Melissa Vega at the live desk, happening right now as we continue to follow the very latest for you on the capital murders of pregnant teen Savanah Soto and her boyfriend Matthew Guerra. A judge granting the father of the suspected gunman, Ramon Preciado,
charging the whale with Squeaky Will. He's actually facing 25 to life as well. Squeaky Will. He's got the same freaking charges. He was right there. Well, he doesn't have the capital M, but I looked up the charges and he's got the tampering with evidence, intent to impair a human corpse. Remember, there's 3 of them. Abuse of a corpse, 3 of them. Altering or destroying and concealing human remains, 3 of them. So he's facing 25 years, probably with probation. And Christopher is facing LWOP because they decided against the death penalty. I'm surprised, but they did. Maybe because of his age and his lack of criminal activity. I don't know.
a bond reduction for his charge in the case from $450,000 to $600,000. We're also learning during Ramon Preciado's bond hearing this afternoon, the mother of Savanah Soto was arrested on a warrant. We're told that Gloria Cordova, Savannah's mom, was arrested. That is video of her being arrested during a recess of Preciado's bond hearing there in the courtroom. We are learning from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office tonight that Cordova was arrested on a warrant of failing to stop and give information. Now, this is in a totally separate case, and a Class B misdemeanor charge. Now, when it comes to the latest on the suspects in the case, just last week, Ramon Preciado's wife, Mirta Romano, she had her bond reduced from $1.1 million to $600,000. They are both facing abuse of a corpse charges. Preciado's son, Christopher, who is accused of murdering Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto, well, he is still being held on a $2 million bond.
Yeah, he never got out and he never will. Mama Pearl says the stepmom will send him lots of Vaseline to prison and he's going to need the big giant tub of it. I'll tell you. What's up, Justice Jane? How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Hit that like button. Oh, you did. Thank you. All right.
New developments in the murder case of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Today, a grand jury indicted suspected killer, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado, on an additional murder charge for the young couple's unborn son, Fabian. As News 4 San Antonio Stephanie Esquivel shows us, the Guerra family says the additional charge is only fair.
We received a call from the district attorney's office, and they're just letting us know that they received the case and that today they'll be presenting it to the grand jury, and they'll be giving the grand jury the opportunity to have it hold capital murder charge.
Matthew Guerra's father, Gabriel, says receiving that call brought a whirlwind of emotions. Matthew, along with his girlfriend Savanah Soto, were killed on December 21. Savanah was pregnant with the young couple's first son, Fabian, and was scheduled to be induced 2 days later.
It's an important day for us. It's the beginning of the legal process, and hopefully this is where we get our closure and we get justice for our loved ones.
In Texas, murder charges can be filed for the death of an unborn child, prompting a grand jury to hear arguments in the case. Gabriel said,
and they are, guys. I want you to know that the trial is happening now. Today was the third day. So I'm going to get you up to speed. We're just about done with this. I'm going to show you what happened in court on day 2 with the evidence and getting kicked out, and then day 3. And then class is dismissed. Y'all can go watch it yourself, or you can have me do a recap when it's all done. I don't think it's going to last too long. What's up, Mabster? Good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for hitting that like button.
It's only fair the suspected killer, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado, face an additional capital murder charge.
It hurts when you hear double homicide or Fabian's name not mentioned, and he was a person too. He was a victim, and it's only right that he gets his name, his justice, and people are acknowledged that his life was taken as well.
Gabriel, his wife and daughter displaying their support for the additional charges using signs with Fabian's.
See, that's baby Fabian, and that's the picture from the casket that they buried, that they made him up so they can see the baby. That was the first time the family was able to meet the baby. It was in a casket.
Picture. Gabriel says he's thankful he at least got to see Fabian before he was laid to rest with his mother, Savannah.
Obviously not the way I wanted me and Fabian to meet, but to have the opportunity to hold him, for him to be on Matthew's arms in the casket, it meant a lot to you.
The Guerra family anticipates emotional turmoil as legal proceedings continue, but they're devoted to fight for justice.
Good days, bad days. We're just trying to stay strong for each other, and everyone's ready.
Bexar County court records show the trial date for Christopher Preciado, who's charged with shooting and killing both Soto and Guerra, is set for May 20th. His father, Ramon, is also set for the same day, as well as Mirta.
Now look at this. This was back in 2024, you guys. They're literally talking about being set to trial in May, and we're in 2026 right now in March. That's how long it took to get these motions filed and the back and forths and all the stuff. It took years. And then a lot of people forgot about it. All right. I can't believe this trial. It's in full motion. And listen, I'm going to get to you right now. Earlier, I showed you day 1. I'm about to show you day 2 and day 3 to get you caught up. I don't know, my friend. I caught it and I was like, whoa, I got to share this.
This comes nearly 5 months after the deaths of Savannah, Matthew, and their unborn child.
Hold on, let me pause it. Christopher Ray Preciado, 19, was charged with capital M of multiple persons, capital M of a child under 10, and abuse of a corpse. We saw that. I think the charges are up now. Same with him, guys. Mom got the same charges as dad, but for some reason they dropped all the charges and they left it wide open. They can charge her in the future if they want. They just didn't have enough evidence to do that. So I'm going to take this down, guys. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button. I showed you day 1. Here's some things from day 2. From day 2 and today. All right. So this is day 2. And then day 3 is today. I'll show you. We'll get real caught up in like 5 minutes. And then class is dismissed. Thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Isis Romero. It has been a long, grueling afternoon for family and friends of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra at the capital murder trial of the man accused of killing them. An evidence tech.
Right. Welcome in. Smoking also has a channel. Go sub up to him. You remember this? Man, damn. I just read on Facebook page that the father and son defecated in their shorts after they murdered them, saying it's a roof. They did it. Proof that they did it. Wow. I wouldn't doubt it, right? We got the whale coming out with this big baby elephant pregnancy, and then his son that we thought was a daughter.
Shared bloody crime scene photos and described how the evidence of the murder was handled back in December of 2023. Sue Kalberg has been in the courtroom for the duration of the trial. She joins us live. Sue?
Isis, the prosecutors warned family members that all of those photos and evidence would be hard to see and emotional. As a matter of fact, she told some of them that they should consider leaving the room and just spare themselves the ordeal of having to see that evidence. Now, we're not going to share the worst of it. The photos of the bodies of the young couple that had been abandoned in their car days before.
So that's where they ended up after Christopher's dad and stepmom came. What they did was they dropped off the car, wiped it down. He hopped in the truck and they went home. They hid out at home for 13 days. On day 13 or day 14, they were arrested. Mom was arrested later and later released. Dad's out on bond. And trial is going on now for Christopher Preciado.
Suffice it to say, there were bullet holes and blood. There was a live bullet. There were spent shell casings. All of it was juxtaposed next to personal property, a car seat their baby Fabian would never occupy, a cell phone, some jewelry, slippers, a key fob, all simple everyday objects that testified about the lives that were left unfinished more than 2 years ago. Prosecutors say Christopher Preciado shot both of those victims in the head, then concealed their car to hide the evidence. Now, family members who filled 2 full rows of the courtroom maintained their composure for the most part, although a couple did leave when it just got simply too sad. Now, the testimony continued after that. A forensics expert is on the stand this afternoon talking about gunshot residue, and there has been a ban on live streaming of this process. But if you want to follow along, we are doing up-to-the-minute testimony updates as they happen on our website, KENS5.com. You can follow along in real time if you want. At the Bexar County Justice Center, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
So that's day 2, and I'll show you a little bit back here. I'm glad you guys are still here. Thank you for being here. I knew this was going to be a long one if I wanted to get you up to speed with the case. So check that out. You heard her reporting on day 2, and this is the development of day 2. Wednesday was trials proceedings was yesterday at 10 a.m. It was delayed due to procedural questions, but what we just saw the lady in court, that was what we watched in open court. The lawyers expressed concerns regarding the safety and security issues, which I'm going to show you. They get kicked out. Judge Jennifer Pena took the time to remind those sitting in the gallery about the rules, including her stipulation that there be no live streaming of the trial, and warned they could be thrown out of court, which 2 are. Another concern for legal teams is that Preciado may not receive a fair trial as a result of potential social media posts and subsequent posts. Although, guys, people forgot about this case, so I don't think so. Later, with the day's proceeding underway, evidence of a technician who preceded the crime scene shared bloody photos and described how the evidence was connected. Family and friends of Soto and Guerra filled the 2 rows, and they were warned that the material may be hard and encouraged them to leave if they need to. So this was the evidence that they were showing, but they're not going to show it. They're just showing her on the stand. Loved ones were in there. They tried to maintain their composure. This lady, the quality assurance manager, tech gunshot residue, took the stand to discuss firearms evidence at the scene of the crime. She showed jurors an oversized model of a bullet to explain what happens when the trigger's pulled on a firearm in order to share the kind of evidence, which is called ballistics, that can be left behind on a shooting. All right. When I'm looking, she says, what I'm looking for whenever I'm looking for a primary gunshot residue are components of the primer cap here. And she's showing the back right there. And they're evaporated from the explosion and they will condense back together to form particles that have become a specific shape and size. She also said science she uses nothing's like TV's crime shows because 2 of the victims were locked in a car that hadn't been tampered with for several days. It wasn't surprising that the gunshot residue remained in the vehicle and on both victims, although not enough was found on the bodies to conclusively say if they handled or fired a gun. All right, so the live updates they'll be doing here on Ken's 5. All right, and jury went out of the room, came back in the room, showed the body camera. They go play by play here. 420, they showed that seizing the truck interaction. At some point, Ramon, Preciado, and Murda and Christopher all came out of the house. That's when Detective Ray confirms the identity of Christopher in the courtroom, and the truck did get seized. I showed that to you earlier. He and another detective obtained a warrant to seize the truck, seen in both locations. They parked nearby to stake out the truck for about an hour. They saw Murda Romanos come out and take out the trash and check the mail. A patrol officer joined them as they waited for someone to get in the truck and attempt to get away. They waited for a tow truck, right? So this is what you guys are seeing on Ken's 5. The jury's being shown videos, the Google Maps. Detective Ray is talking about the phone and how they picked up the phone in the area where the alleged drug deal took place before the bodies were dumped. I mean, they're doing pretty well here. You see all this on the scene about the bodies. He said it was obvious there are 2 deceased people in the car. They didn't know she was pregnant yet. And it goes on and on and on, right? The defense clarifies the gunshot residue. It's a whole day worth of stuff, which I'm not going to go over now. But you guys want to go to Ken's 5 and catch up? Here you go. I'll drop you a link there. That was day 2. And then we've got them getting, I'm going to show you a couple more clips so I can catch you up. So if you want to watch the trial or updates tomorrow, you certainly can. Look, this is the whale. The whale was in court behind his son supporting him when 2 males got sent out of the courtroom. Let me just show you real quick. So that is his father. He's also being charged, but he's out on bond. And there's his stepmother, Murda. They're both behind him. If you actually see inside the courtroom, he's right in front of here. Christopher Preciado.
Come on out. Let's go outside. You too, young man. Come on out. You too. Let's go outside. Outside. Thank you. You keep looking this way. Outside.
There they are right there.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Anyone anyone else have a problem, you will be stepping out of this courtroom and out of the courthouse.
Yeah, I would be afraid if I were those two people to be having the family members behind me. I would be looking behind me the whole time. He keeps looking back, and he should. That's what I was just saying. Like I've seen courts go down where family members jump across and over. They don't care if they're arrested to go attack the perpetrator. That's wild. They were being disruptive in the courtroom. I think they were talking shit to each other or talking. You see two people, it looked like they were on different sides, possibly. Again, I don't know. I was just kind of going over there. Tensions rise on the third day. All right. So I'm catching you up right now to, I showed you the evidence, and now we're up to catching you up to the third day. I showed you the ejection. Hold on. All right, this just happened today, and then you'll be caught up, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. Tensions rise as testimony during third day of Christopher Preciado murder trial. Here you go.
Police investigation into the murders of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn son were released today in the trial of Christopher Preciado. Some of those details we had not heard before.
KSAT 12's Erica Hernandez joining us live just outside of that courtroom. Erica, we know that Christopher's father, Ramon Preciado, he is also charged with helping his son cover up this crime, and today he was allowed to be in the courtroom.
Yeah, Myra, that's correct. In fact, the moments that he walked in got very ticked in that courtroom this morning, and it led to two of Savanah Soto's brothers being escorted out of the courtroom and not allowed.
Okay, so it was Savanah Soto's brothers. There you go. We got the little bit of a recap there. I didn't know who it was because this just came out while I was streaming. So anyhow, we're on day 3. Hopefully you guys understood everything that happened. And when class is dismissed, you'll be able to tell your story to whoever needs to be caught up on the case.
Back in, and then a deputy sat next to Ramon Preciado throughout all day, and they even escorted him around the building throughout the day during breaks. This is something I had not seen before. But regarding that testimony, we heard a lot from detectives and crime scene investigators throughout the day. They were able to pinpoint Soto's phone at the home where Preciado was located. Back in December 2023, prosecutors say Guerra and Soto went to Preciado's home to sell drugs to Christopher Preciado before being killed at the home. Inside the house, detectives said the bedroom door of Ramon Preciado and Mita Romano.
I forgot about that, guys. I didn't even talk about that right now. I totally forgot. They were right outside of his house. Listen, guys, these people botched it from the beginning. Savannah and Matthew actually pulled up into their, I don't know if it's a cul-de-sac or their street, and that happened. It took place right there. Isn't that crazy? He was literally in front of the house, like, hey, come sell me drugs. Meet me out front of my house. He walks outside, gets in the car, takes their lives, calls his dad, meets him up a mile away, and drops the car and goes home. They caught him 13 days later with the video evidence, the gunshot residue, the mostly video evidence. Mostly it was the vehicles that they were in. It was a manhunt nationwide. Everybody was looking.
Manos, who is Christopher's mother, was locked, and it took Mirta a while to open it.
She was pretty nervous, but none of the keys that she had would unlock it. We would have to take the door off the hinges if necessary. Mirta asked us to wait. She went back downstairs, grabbed another set of keys, came up, and had a key that unlocked the door.
Now, inside the bedroom, a small handgun and casings were found. Police state believe
that's a tiny little gun. Damn. If he wouldn't have got them in the head, he might have not been able to take their lives?
They matched the one found in Guerra's car. Now, investigators also collected clothing and shoes from the Preciado home to be tested because they were believed to be blood on them. And a small blood stain was also found on the cables to the home security system. Later, it was also revealed that a person who lived a street over called police to tell them they had found money with blood on it in the street. Now, we just heard from a firearms expert just moments ago who was able to tie together that gun found inside the home did match the casing that was found inside.
You guys just see how we made full circle here today. We started from the time that they disappeared and are ending on day 3. So y'all can go catch up and say, I knew that was happening. I knew that trial was happening. I knew it. I remember that case. I do. I didn't know that the trial was happening until I did. And my girl Tiff said, Jay, and I said, Tiff, and I said, hey, let's do the case tomorrow. So shout out to my girl Tiff, put a ton of effort into this today. Thank you, Tiff. All right.
Of Guerra's car. Now, there's been about more than a little 20 witnesses that have gone on the stand. We're expecting around 35 to 36. So tomorrow will be another long day of testimony. But if found guilty, Christopher Preciado would automatically be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Live at the Gudina Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And that's what happened, folks. That was a long tensions rise. We saw that. And then we're going to pull this down. Okay, so there we go. We need justice for Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian Guerra. All right, Jody, thank you for being a member for 9 months. That's a pregnancy right there. And perfect. I wish the baby would have been born. Say a prayer that they get the justice they deserve. I don't think this trial is going to last too long. Several days. I don't know what I thought was pretty quick. Huh? All right. So that's that. Those are the victims. And this Christopher Preciado is on trial currently right now for those 3 counts of capital. I'm glad they charged him as a capital, including the unborn child. That gave him 3, tampering with the corpse. And you see how different he looks? He cut his hair and he totally broke out his face. Do you guys remember Corey Richins? When Corey Richins first started going to her court hearings, she freaking broke out. She was trying to cover her face with her hair. You guys remember that? Because when you go from your house and having your beautiful products and your stuff to washing your face with your hand and somebody else's soap, you're going to break out. That happened to this guy, and Corey Richins happened as well. We love Tiff around here. Yes, we do. She also does fantastic merch. Best quality out there and the cheapest. I bought the same hoodie. I bought the same hoodie from another channel, and other channels are $75 for a hoodie. We have the same exact hoodies with better prints, of course, for $40. Come on. Why are they so much? We don't want it to be that much. What's up, Molly? Angie, how you doing? All right, so that's him. Dad's next. Ramon Preciado is absolutely being charged with those charges. And this mom is not. She's in court supporting right now. All charges were dismissed in 2025, and they have the right to come back and recharge her anytime they feel like it. All right, guys, if I missed anything, I'll check real quick. I think we're all good to go. We'll keep it on that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Mama Sage knows the deal. Come back, hype the video. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. If you see it, hype it, hit the like, and share it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for getting us to the goal. Remember, if you're new here or if you're not new here, tomorrow, Monday through Friday, we're here, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, your 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but you know Fridays are always a hoot because I don't have to work the next day. All right, guys, love you all. Have a wonderful night, and thank you, Justice, for those victims, all right? Good night. Thank you. Smoking, my guy, have a good night, man. Thank you. Thank you guys all. Carly's in the house. Look at that. We got our pleasure. Carly's in the house. Kel. Thank you guys. Thanks all the mods and Mama Pearl. I love that my mom watches my show every day And she mods for us too. Isn't that fantastic, Mom? I would say so. Love you, Mom. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Cali time, 7 p.m. Florida time. All right? Good night. Love you all.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?